Zero planning. I love this. Oh my God. Hi, everybody. So we are live on Twitch, and I have a brand new opening that Xavier made for me yesterday. So I just wanted to let the boys know that that's what I'm going to play. So here we go. What do you think about that?
Well, it's better than you at the beginning. We can hear you say greetings, everyone, and then it trails off, and then you say greetings.
I know, but that was like a
No, you're nothing.
THS. What? Johnny? Hello? Every show is like our first.
Choking on a cough drop.
Your mic, John, just so you know, your mic is muted, and we didn't do that. I see it muted. Johnny?
He's unmuted now.
No, now he's not muted. John? Every show is like our first show. Every day is like a new day.
Nothing changes on the show.
Nothing. You know what? Fuck it. I want to.
Where did it go now?
I got nothing. I don't know. He just went away. And you know what? I'm going to wait for him to come back, and I'm going to put that goddamn opening back on. All right, here he comes. Hang on a second. Who's Tom Heinsohn, by the way?
Tommy Heinsohn is a legendary Celtic. He was a coach, general manager, and he was one of the team broadcasters since maybe the late 70s. He was broadcasting games through last year. He's 86 years old, just a Celtics legend, and he dropped dead today.
Oh, all right. Rest in peace. Johnny, did you miss my new opening?
I caught that Rick Mahan is such a goddamn punk. I want his head on a stick. Yeah, Tommy Heinsohn, Monique. If you watch CBS in the 80s, he was the commentator, very biased Celtic, just a staple of that city. So more as beloved as Carl Yastrzemski as Tom Brady, just a complete fucking.
More importantly, did you see my brand new opening? Did you hear it?
I did. No. I heard 20 seconds and then it cut. I had to make sure
All right. Well, I'm going to play it again because I think it's fucking badass. So here we go. Come on, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, pithy, awesome.
Very cool.
Nice. Less pithy and pissy. Less is more. Very cool. I like it.
All right, so greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Radio Gunk. Today is Tuesday, and that would be exactly a week since the elections. And we are here to provide you with a little bit of entertainment whilst we still parse our way through who actually won this election. Of course, Matt erroneously put up that Real Clear Politics had not called Pennsylvania, which I have been following your analytics and then realized that they never called it. I don't want to get into politics at all, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. And so
I will say my dad voted for Ralph Nader again.
Oh my!
You really did. Voted for Ralph Nader. So did mine.
Well, and actually, he's dead, but I actually did vote for Ross Perot. That was my first vote ever, and I voted for Ross Perot.
My dad's dead too. My father's dead.
I just threw shit away. So with me tonight are somebody that looks like Tom Heinsohn. I don't know who he is. They tried to explain it to me.
Knows who he is.
But I thought it was more important that I let you see my new opening that Xavier did for me once again. And then we have Matt. Matt was is my friend, and he used to do the minifan show, and now he's not doing the minifan show. So I would really love for Matt to actually do a new show and put it on our Twitch channel and let him, get a bunch of subscribers and do something fun and, completely suited towards his particular brand of podcasting.
Do a Tom Heinsohn show, man.
And Bird retired. Not
What are these refs looking at? Dick Stockton.
So,
once again.
Todd is here, and I want everybody to know that my friend Todd, today I came back into New York City from Pennsylvania, and I had a box that was waiting for me. And when I opened it up, there were five boxes of Funny Bones in it. And then, of course, immediately I had to Google, can you freeze Funny Bones? Because there's not a shot in hell of me being able to eat 5 fucking boxes of Funny Bones. It's like, really, Todd? You really want me to gain weight? Is that what you want from me?
There's no shelf life on those things. You can keep them for years and years and years.
They're like McDonald's French fries. Exactly.
Yeah,
you can find a fucking Funny Bone in the side of your seat of your car, and it would probably still be completely valid for you to be able to eat.
I heard Bisnick wrote a letter at the thing and said, I got your Funny Bones right here, honey.
Well, suffice it to say, I have enjoyed 4 of them, and I fucking hate you. And so because I enjoyed 4 of them, that I sacrificed dinner so that I can eat 4 Funny Bones.
Yeah, that's a diet though, Monique. You could do the Beth diet. Do the junk food diet, eat nothing but chips or that, and you'll ruin your appetite for the rest of the day. You actually could turn that into a diet.
I'm sorry, Cookies, Nookies. What's a Funny Bone? What?
Oh my God. That's an abused childhood if you don't know what a Funny Bone is.
I should really cancel her immediately.
The Drake and Hostess family who didn't have the friend who had the cupboard of all the fucking great snacks.
You always have one friend who has the snack house. Mine was Dana, and I would go to her house because she was the only family of the divorced parent. So of course, her mother completely indulged her, and she had
go ahead. I got to see Beth Skit, my writer. Monique eating 4 Funny Bones. That's the dinner. Midlife crisis.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Oh,
it's all about the chocolate and peanut butter, okay? Because those are 2 of my absolute favorite things to have together. I will let you know that my my daughter-in-law Lauren is here with me, just hanging out. They can't see you, sweetheart. You have to say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So she's just sitting in with us tonight because, when you're in New York City, you just got to be able to get out of the fucking house at night. And unfortunately, there's really nowhere to go except to other people's homes. So, she came with wine and Subway, and I'm sure she'll... Oh, you won't eat Funny Bones, will you?
I'll eat it fine.
Of course you will. So we're just hanging. The purpose of tonight's show, and Matt's been working kind of, we talked about doing a show together and what we wanted it to be on, and he really is kind of obsessed with the whole Gilbert thing. And as many, as I posted it on the forum, seem to be as well. So what we've decided to do tonight is kind of like a compilation of Gilbert. And trying, I guess, to get an understanding as to how fucked up he really is and how they would spur him on and how they actually, he's kind of like that kid in school that you make eat his boogers, he's that kid. And so, if they told him to do that, he would do that. And, his ultimate demise was licking the fucking cupcake. But I feel like over the course... Yeah, they needed an excuse. Right. So over the course of years, it just got systemically worse and worse. And then, of course, everything became very politically correct. You couldn't say the N word, the F word, the S word. I mean, any of the words. And Gilbert's particular brand of comedy did not suit the Howard Stern narrative any longer.
Spot on intro, Monique.
Thank you, Tom.
Really well done. That was really well. He really is the avatar of everything verboten on this current shit show. He truly is this man baby cartoon character with no just loose cannon who will say and offend anything. And you talk about a guy who is immune from the cancel culture. You can't cancel this son of a bitch. He doesn't really belong to anybody. That's kind of the brilliance of his career, is that he's had. Well, you can't. He doesn't really belong to anybody. He doesn't really belong to an organization. He sticks his foot into a little bit of here. He does some voiceovers. He does a spot. He does a drop in here and there. He'll be on Hollywood Squares, but you can't really cancel him. That Affleck thing, I guess, is the closest they've come.
Yes, but he, clearly he has found his niche in being able to interview and or dissect the lives of like 70s superstars like Lionel Wagner
and 50s people on there.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, if they were still alive, he'd have like Toady Fields and like shit like that. Like he loves that, and I think that was like really a good niche for him to kind of get involved in, and maybe he's evolved. I don't really know, but
for the most part, he's good, Gilbert, on that podcast when he has. Oh my God, I'm blanking. He has him on once a year. The guy who was on Sex and the City.
Shit!
Guy. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name.
What guy from Sex and the City? Help me! I love Sex and the City.
Chris
Knopf?
No. The gay guy.
The comedian. Oh God, the comedian, Monique. He's
the little gay one.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, help me out in the chat. What's his? Mario Cantone.
Mario,
you.
Yeah, Italian guy. Right.
He has Mario Cantone on at least once a year for Christmas, and it is an old Hollywood love fest. But he uses the F word with him all the time. He calls him the F word throughout. Mario Cantone calls him a Jew throughout, and they're good to go. And that's about the closest you get from bad Gilbert for the most part. He's generally good Gilbert, and I think his sidekick kind of keeps him in line a little bit. Sometimes it comes out, but he's not quite the same guy he was before. But he's kind of in his glory talking about old movies and old actors and all of this stuff.
How old is Gilbert?
67.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
so he's probably on Medicare.
He's right in that.
He's right in the Howard realm of age.
Yep. That exactly. Seinfeld, all those guys are the same. It's like they're born in like the mid 50s, baby boomers, kind of, that whole generation of comedians that came through like the mid to late 70s and early 80s. They're all in that same. They have the same point of reference.
When he was on SNL.
Was it?
Yeah, that was 1980.
So that was 1980. Right.
Excuse me, G Canada. Come on, Sex and the City. Worst show ever. You're such a Goya. What does that mean exactly? So Sex and the City was around in a time period where I was working in the fashion industry. I was making a shit ton of money. Nothing made me happier than to buy like a Balenciaga or a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton and wear Manolo Blahniks. And I could completely associate with those chicks so much more than I could with a bunch of fucking milquetoast humans on fucking Friends, completely different.
Everybody watched that show.
I have a theory that Mario Cantone is completely based on Darren Star, because Darren Star, I didn't realize he's a gay guy.
Oh yeah,
probably a fag hag, and that is Darren Star's dream, is to hang around. I watch it. I'm gonna say with that show, I think it's above average. I think it hit on some original socio-economic relationship stuff that even a guy could watch. It got crazy with the shoes and shit. It got vapid, but there were good moments in that show. I'm not gonna say it's all crap. It had its shit episodes. But it definitely was revolutionary for what it tried to do. I think it needed to be a little longer. I think it was a little too fast, a little too 25-minute-y, and it needed a little more of expansion. But it bashed women as much as it bashed men. It wasn't like it was men.
Carrie was emblematic of pretty much every single girl in New York that I knew, right? So, you're just getting up on your feet. You're just starting to be successful and make some money. I didn't save a fucking dime until I turned maybe like 31, 32. I tell this all the time. I spent every single dime I had on, good clothing and bags and shoes. And that's what most of us in that New York kind of feeling of lifestyle did. you know, and we all wanted to meet our Mr. fucking big. Everybody wanted to be with the incredibly wealthy man who like falls in love with you. So it's like a fairy tale, you know, it's like a fashion fairy tale. And everybody else was just kind of secondary to me. You know, Miranda was old, and the other one was the lesbian, and the other one was married. And
you didn't know it. You didn't know it at the time. Yet so much so that Craig Gass went down on her or one of the episodes. There was Kenneth Keith Callenbach was on that once. Remember, he was he played the roommate. Carrie was dating somebody. I can't remember. It might have been someone famous. Like it might have. Oh God, it doesn't matter who. And Kenneth Keith Callenbach was playing the guy's roommate. So they had a one-night stand, and Kenneth Keith Callenbach came like trundling out as she tried to go to the bathroom, and they like ran into each other in the hall. Swear to God. Craig Gass is on it. Kane from Kane and Cabby was on it once. He dated Carrie. He was like a comic book. Yeah.
Cabby?
Kane. No, Kane. That guy Kane. Remember Kane?
Kane was cute. I remember that. So
Cabby
just so you know,
Mario Cantone.
just so you know, Matt, the DEC.
Yeah, the Metafans are in here sometimes.
Matt J, aka DNC, DEC. You have people that miss you apparently.
Classic Ziggy Robinson, though, right?
Okay, so let's get our shit going.
Monique, one last thing. But what did you say that Sex and the City, as good as it could have been in certain spots, it gave women a false, I guess, impression of what life in like you're gonna move there and you're gonna have their lives. Like every chick that moved to New York during that time had that sort of Carrie Bradshaw fantasy that she was gonna have, and life in New York is brutal. You're not gonna get right.
It's ridiculous because honestly, unless you make over $150,000, you can't really exist in the city as a single human being unless you have a rent-controlled apartment that was passed on to you by your fucking grandmother, and you probably still have her shit, smelly fucking cat furniture in there as well. And the reality is, it's really, really hard to live here. But yeah, I used to go to all the places that they went to in Sex and the City. I mean, that's how I rolled. And so, you know, just and it would just be funny where they would go to like Serafina, and it's like, fuck, I was just there like 2 days ago. Or you would see them filming, you know, sometimes like in Central Park or whatever, and you'd wait and you'd look at Carrie, and then you'd be like, God, she's so fucking short. And you know, you just kind of forget that like actors are really all just like these little weirdo fidgets with giant fucking heads, and you just don't even understand who they are. I love you, Lady Red. Thank you so much. I wish I had friends like Mo. Everyone I know thinks I'm a weirdo. Yeah, me too. Gunkers are highly intelligent and rebels, in my opinion. Most people just don't get it. No, most people don't get it, but that's okay. Nobody has to get it. You know what? We do the show for ourselves. We don't care.
If I had remembered Mario Cantone's name, we don't go down this rabbit hole for 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's how we usually start a show, with like, you know, 15 to a half hour worth of non-essential blather. So, okay, so I guess we're going to get to our show now, fuck faces. So Matt is kind of in charge of a lot of the clips tonight, which, you know, kind of fuels my OCD just a little bit of not being in control of things, but I'm good with that because I know, because I trust you and your ability to get this shit together. So you can start us off, and you can do like a little preamble to what we're going to be listening to tonight.
I got a whole bunch of clips that I've clipped a little bit. So they're scoped. I took out the N-word. I took out the racial epitaphs that I thought would really get us in trouble. And I was just tooling through YouTube one day and looking for Gilbert Gottfried, Paul Lynde, because I love when Gilbert talks about Paul Lynde. I'm very focused on Paul Lynde for some reason. And I found this clip where he says something with George Takei in the room that offends everybody. And it just kind of pissed me off. Well, the first thing was everybody's offended except for Gilbert and Artie. And they apologized to George because George is all about culture and the Japanese American whatever you call it, non-racism stuff. So he's very sensitive. But it kind of pissed me off that it deferred to George, a guy who's only on the show for the reason that for years they went and kind of made fun of the fact that he was probably closeted. They made fun of this guy for years, and now
and Asian, and the fact that he's Asian helps too. I mean, that's
So I'm going to play this clip. He goes and he does Paul Lynde, and it's a setup of when we go through some of these other clips, you'll see that Gilbert is doing exactly what Howard would want him to do, or what Gilbert thinks Howard would want him to do.
Oh, Gilbert would do that. He's not a complete animal. Gilbert, you would at least give your son medication.
Exactly.
Yeah, he sedated him
What am I?
before he asphyxiated him.
You're an animal.
Oh my goodness!
And then he got himself hopped up before he hung
You
himself.
got yourself hopped up. Oh
Gilbert,
my goodness!
what would it
Thinking
sound
maybe
like?
he did the same for his wife.
What would it sound like if Paul Lynde wiped out your family?
So I think the context of this is they were talking about the Chris Benoit murders.
Okay, the wrestler.
Having a little fun with that.
The rest is a wrestler.
Yeah.
Wasn't it for your own good? Oh my goodness! You'll suffer more with Gilbert as a father. Trust me, even this won't get in the paper.
What would it sound like if Paul Lynde forced George Takei to have sex with his mother?
George, listen to me, you chap bastard. I want you to have sex with Mom.
Okay, circle gets the square.
Dead. Totally dead. Everybody's laughing, and then you have Fred, who sounds like he got something jammed up his ass and is tickling his prostate, which that also drives me nuts, that noise that Fred makes from time to time.
I hate the Fred noise. I hate that there you go. There's nothing that Fred does that adds to the conversation. Today is Tuesday, right? So today's show, they were basically talking about if Howard died, or they were talking about who would take over for Alex Trebek. Maybe that was yesterday's show. I can't even remember anymore. And they were talking about George Stephanopoulos, and he was talking about, who would take over the show for me? And they were like, yeah, Fred could never do it. He doesn't even know how to speak to people, when he's not being spoken to. And I'm like thinking to myself, God, that's so fucking offensive to think that a guy who's been in radio for over 35 fucking years doesn't even get the benefit of being able to be somebody who could possibly take over for Howard. And not that anybody needs to take over for Howard. It's just that he doesn't trust anybody to be in his chair because he's very fearful that somebody could do much better than him, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, right down to he won't let anybody fill in for him, and that's been going on for years. I can't think of, obviously, Matt, you're a huge sports radio guy. When sports radio goes on vacation, they don't play best of. They have a fill-in host. They're the element of live radio, and those hosts aren't threatened by someone. Even I think Rush Limbaugh's had people fill. Howard is the most threatened son of a bitch. Even when I'm not a huge Opie and Anthony fan, but one thing I loved about those two is they had a system set up when they would never go on vacation. So Opie would go on vacation and Anthony would host it, and he would have like Norton or Patrice O'Neill, and then Opie would go on Anthony would go on vacation, and then Opie would bring in, whatever, Patrice or Norton or somebody, and they would do it that way. So they had a system going but Howard can't deal with it. And he won't even tell you what he's going on
career because he was Rush's fill-in. Like Rush, say what you will about politics, Rush allowing people to be fill-in helped them create radio careers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast. I was doing a little nappy today before the show, and I was listening to a podcast. It's so random. It was about it's about random things in the Smithsonian, and it happened to be about the Bee Gees silver outfits back from 1975. So anyway, they start talking about how the words "disco sucks" became like such a huge thing after there was such a massive backlash to disco. And you know who fucking started #disco sucks? Steve Dahl. And Steve Dahl was the precursor to the Howard protest, the Howard gathering a bunch of people to say, yeah, fuck yeah, and whatever. And he started the entirety. And the Bee Gees actually at one point said, we almost blamed Steve Dahl for the death of fucking disco. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that he, and of course we realized that he was Howard before Howard was Howard. And if in today's day and age with the internet and everything, he would have never been able to get away with what he did, back when he started in this business. But Steve was the precursor to, having all these people get together in Chicago and burn all their fucking disco CD, radio records and stuff like that. And he was the guy who started that entire fucking movement. And I don't know why I segued into that. I just thought it was important to mention. That's all. Well, I knew you'd have some funny bones. Sorry.
So here's the bit, and George gets offended.
Gilbert. Take somebody angry and have sex with your mother.
Wet cunt.
Go home.
Gilbert.
That's offensive. I'm sorry.
It really is.
That was
Well,
beneath
George is the
you.
one who said he'd fuck his mother.
No, I did not.
George.
I had a gun to my head. My arm was being twisted, and
It was a hypothetical situation.
yeah,
You had to save the
absolutely.
life of your parents.
totally
And he
hypothetical.
immediately jumped and said, I'll fuck my
I
mother.
would take the bullet myself, but they said no.
Hey, George, you
they
want
would
to
shoot
take
my
the
mother.
bullet yourself?
What?
I've got the gun on you. Who
Yeah.
do you want to fuck, your mother or father?
I'll take the bullet. I'll take the bullet.
I'll
And
take George Takei.
the block. You what?
It seems like George is like not even there. A regular who doesn't get the show, isn't in tune, doesn't have the rhythm. I would make the case that other than somebody who's actually on the show, Gilbert Gottfried understands that show and his purpose, when to speak, when not to speak, better than anyone.
Yeah, but Matt, you got to realize with George, he's a Buckwald client, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the first thing Howard did when he got to Sirius?
Yeah, George on.
Voice you had.
John?
Dead like Tommy Heinsohn. Once again.
Rest in peace, Tommy. See, this is why the terrorists hate us. This is why we are who we are, and this is why we'll never change, because shit like this happens all the time.
Maybe he's there and I got the answer wrong and he's just waiting for me to get the right answer.
So
Yes, Bon Jovial. George is a Buckwall client.
yes, George is a Buckwald client, and he was actually one of the first guests that he had on.
So he
when
was the first.
when he went on Howard, right?
We heard on Sirius.
We lost him again. We lost Johnny. Yes, Tiger Lily. This is why we hate us. Yeah, this is what we do. So what's JFSC?
John from Scranton, I think.
What the hell's that?
This is like, so your channel is getting overrun by Menafans, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
And people are
okay.
jumping in because they know I'm in here.
Isn't that okay?
I think so for the most part, but eventually they'll turn on me halfway through here. They'll get drunk and they'll turn on me and start roasting me. That's what happened. It's fine.
I'll delete them then if they're going to be mean to you. I don't want
Johnny
you to be
Frauder
mean.
Social Club.
Oh. So should I play a little bit of the somebody just put Johnny Frauder Social Club. Should I play a little bit of Gilbert's first?
Yeah,
we
sure.
do like
I'll
a
tell you what
little
And you tell me
back
what
in
you want to
time
do.
kind of thing. Like when was Gilbert first on the show? Do you have any idea?
I think 1988, 1989.
And then when was his last appearance?
I think it was like 2012-ish.
Okay. So let me see if I can. Oh, look who's back. Tom came back from the dead. Here we go. What goes on with you, Johnny?
I said more dropouts than Gilbert.
Jesus, fuck. Where
Brighton
are
Beach
you?
Community College.
You done. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, Tom is dead."
You know what the problem was? I'm using a VPN.
Why?
And because you told me to. That was your advice. On your advice, I started to try to use a VPN. That was your
but you
advice.
don't have to use a VPN with us.
Because
you only use a VPN when you're trying to log on to something where you can't get on normally, like a bootleg place to watch UFC, or exactly, when you're watching porn. Not for us.
I did. I'm still new to it. I had it on in the background, and I guess it uses a lot of bandwidth, I suppose, and it runs slower. I'm going to blame it. I don't know if that's even the reason.
Well, you have your Net Zero customer as well. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Matt,
AOL.
Matt, let John tell you how he usually saves things. He doesn't save it on an external hard drive. He burns.
Oh no! When I'm driving, I use an MP3 CD. So I'll put like any
drive.
What?
I thought it was like an iOmega zip drive.
He'll always say to me, "Oh my god, I have 40 amazing episodes of 21 Jump Street. Should I send it to you on CD?" I'm like, no. I don't even have a CD player. I don't even have a computer that has a CD player. I don't think I have anything that actually can play.
I don't either.
Metallic disc.
I'm telling you,
Blu-ray player can do it.
I have all that stuff. It's it's easy to navigate. Like let's say I'm listening to the Steve Dahl show. I put 6 of them on one MP3 CD and you just keep it there and it plays like a jukebox. And you don't have to use your phone and you know what I mean? Like it's separate from the other shit you're using. I'm telling you, it's great. I can't push this on anybody. It's my own private Gus Van Zant, Idaho, but I'm telling you, it's great. I got to show it to you in person. Next time I see you, I'll show you the stuff. Because I'm tired of selling it to you, and you've got to see how this goes.
I could have given you my mini disc player. You can reach for over and over on those.
All right. So as a little flash to the past, we're going to, just for shits and giggles, play the first time Gilbert was on the show. And I'm a little scared to play it because nothing has been censored from it, so I'm not really sure how much of it I can actually play. But Johnny,
you can just hit the delay.
Yeah, I found this from my archives. This is his first appearance. This is 1987, so they're not going to let too much go. I mean, this is the second year of K-Rock. There's no N-word in here. It's his first. Howard had never met him before. I thought they'd kind of known I thought Gilbert predated this, but I guess 87 is the first year he came on. So it's just let it roll.
All right, here we go. Maybe.
Did you see it?
Oh my god, this makes me laugh so much that I don't
drop the stylus on it. You 33.5.
Play it on the SIM card.
This is why I hate doing live shows, damn it. Look, Matt's all prepared because he's like a radio guy and he's got all his shit together. And here's Monique trying to fucking this is Gilbert being banned. No, I don't want to play that.
No, that's not the one.
I don't want to play that. I'm sorry. You guys, I can never get my shit together and you all know this. So, just chat amongst yourselves while I try to find Gilbert's.
I probably can play it.
Dorian Morgan says Gilbert's the only stand-up I've ever paid to go see. Dorian, I agree with you. There's very few comedians I would pay to go see. Just to get you out of the comfort of your own home. You got to bring something. And Gilbert is a unicorn. There is nobody like him. There is the unaccountability. The guy doesn't have to explain. He doesn't have to apologize. Like I said, you can't cancel him. And he is as Teflon as you talk about being able to take it and dish it out equally. There's nothing you can say to offend that guy. There's nothing you can do. He's never going to ice you. He's a cartoon character. He's a real life.
Do you think that Gilbert might be a little like Asperger's / retarded?
Yes. Okay. Just no social graces, no social cues, and isn't that the big thing with Asperger's? Is you have no social ability whatsoever. You can't read people's body language. I think Gilbert has trouble with eye contact, if I'm not mistaken. People who know him, and he's
look at every picture he takes. Never shows his teeth.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You're so right. All right, I got the clip. Let's see if I can play it.
All right.
You probably get Gilbert in here, find out what kind of car he drives. Although I don't think he has a car.
He lives in Manhattan. I bet you he doesn't have a car.
This was his mother.
Well, I bet you he doesn't have
Wow, he lives with his mother. Think about that.
Hey, Gary, get Gilbert in here. I'm a little nervous with this guy.
Why?
Because
we've heard so many things about him. He's so wacky. It's like I'm really wondering how this interview's going.
What is that
Well, we'll
song?
see, won't we?
Here you are.
Rock and Roll Part 1.
The Jack
Wow, Matt coming out with the fucking knowledge. I
Gary
love it.
Glitter, who got
Gary Glitter. Didn't he have like a pedophile
yes.
suit against him? Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking at pedophile sites. He got caught. He got in a sting.
That's like every jock rock anthem at a fucking hockey game or whatever. They love that for years and years.
Yeah, like the hockey games, everybody like stands up and pumps their fists like.
Well, that's Fred.
You look like yourself.
Music.
You look
what?
just like yourself.
Oh God! Here, let me put on my earphones so I can hear you from a foot away.
Yeah. Is it too loud?
Yeah. Oh, this is way too loud.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to feel like I'm in a bad episode of Star Trek.
Yes.
Yes.
Gilbert Gottfried, of course, who we think.
Yes.
We think.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, we've given you genius category.
Oh, and she's in another room.
Yes.
She's the woman in the glass booth.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
How you doing?
Well, I know I enjoy waking up when it's still dark.
Yeah, but wait a second. What kind of car you drive? Oh, you don't have a car.
I didn't. Someone brought me here. What? I know these things.
Oh, you really? Someone gave you a ride?
Actually.
He might be 1.5 steps ahead of Sour Shoes.
As
Like
far
in
as, yeah. No, it's the same. If you had to like do a whole psychoanalysis and diagnosis on them, they probably would come in the same category depending on the team of psychiatrists. G Canada writes asshole burgers is more like it. Yeah, I mean, do Asperger's people like, get a pass? They're just assholes, and we're gonna use this psycho,
No, I don't think they're assholes. I can't call somebody with Asperger's an asshole. It's just that there's like a pattern by which they live their lives. I mean, here's Gilbert, who I guess at this point is a fairly successful comedian. I'm not even really sure.
I think he'd been in Beverly Hills Cop at that point. He had been on Saturday Night Live. He had done USA Up All Night. He had been dropped into
failure.
But he was on it. But he was on it.
Cosby Show. He was on the Cosby Show for one episode, and he stole the scene. And that's where he kind of created the screeching character, because he jumps on and he's yelling about Dr. Huxtable. He's screwing up Dr. Huxtable's scam. And he kind of sprungboard again his career. But he was doing stand-up at this time, he probably just started doing stand-up in 1970, 1975. So he had been out there 15 years at this point.
Tons of TV work. Great.
Oh, yeah.
A career by that point.
He was on MTV and VH1 around this time, too.
A career at that point, even that most comedians would have killed for. Just
so
TV
a career in TV and a stand-up comedian, and he's still living with his mother.
He's a Brooklyn mama's boy. Who knows?
Somebody had to drive him into the city.
Have you seen Gilbert's movie on Hulu?
No.
Okay, so I'd highly recommend it. I think it answers a lot of these questions. He was very, very close to his mother, very close to his sister, who has since passed away. His sister was a pretty skilled photographer, very, very talented. And he definitely has OCD because his wife...
Is he living in Brighton Beach, Matt? Which is like by Coney Island? Is that where he hails from? He was from Brooklyn. So if he's coming in from there, if he's coming in from there, it would make sense that he's being driven, because the subway, Monique, as you know, from fucking Coney Island to Midtown is crazy.
I don't give a shit. Who can't? I don't even. I just don't understand a Gilbert. I guess that's what
I don't know.
In the movie, you can see him like he's taking the dollar bus or the whatever the bus is, or it's like the $2 bus to go to stand up. To travel to say, like, I'm going to travel from Brooklyn to Connecticut. I'm going to get on the bus, and then I'll get on the bus from Hartford to Albany to do something there instead of driving. His wife goes under the bed, and she pulls out this big Tupperware that takes the whole under the bed, and she goes, "This is all the shampoo that Gilbert brings back."
Right.
And he has saved like every shampoo bottle that he's ever had on the road, and they have run out of space for the things that he just collects.
Yeah, he's stealing equal packets from the Friars Club and shit. He's got that like cheap beyond, like, you think these stories are fake, but he is that cheap.
They're worse than even the stories are.
Monique, you as a lifelong urbanite, what is the motivation for an urbanite to learn how to drive?
I didn't drive until I was like 22, 23 years old. I didn't need a car.
He's never left the city. So driving was never that paramount of a thing for him.
I'm sorry, call me crazy, but if you're an actor and you need to get to places and you need to be on set and stuff like that, I gotta assume that you're going to drive. Nonetheless, we're getting into the weeds. So let me just go through a little bit more of this so that we can hear what he sounded like on this lovely. You know what? If I can't fucking do it again, you're going to kill me. Matt, you might have to take this one over.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people in the comments saying that the Gilbert movie is fantastic. It is great.
Where can we watch it now? Is it still around?
I think it's on Hulu.
I'll watch it at MP3.
So what is it? What's the context of it? Like, is it
It's a documentary on Gilbert Gottfried where they go and they interview him and they follow him with his family and they follow him on the road of what it's like to be him, to be a stand-up comedian. Yeah. They follow him when he loses the Aflac deal because of his jokes about the tsunami, and they just kind of follow him around. It's almost like they follow him around for a year.
Is there anything on the Stern show, Matt?
He's henpecked by his wife. Like she runs everything.
Of course.
Well, to be fair with you, the fact that he actually got married surprised everybody. Like I could never imagine a guy like Gilbert.
She's way too good looking for him too.
Finding somebody that would actually marry him.
And he's got these really cute kids too. You'd never think they would come from Gilbert. His wife is way too attractive for him too.
So we're going to take care of some more of like Matt's clips because clearly we have no idea what we're doing, and Matt is professional.
Matt,
tell me where you want to go.
Matt, is there anything from the Stern show on the Gilbert doc? Are they allowed to use footage from there? Is there anything Howard oriented in the movie?
Yes, actually, they do have him at Sirius being interviewed by Howard. It's a very short clip. I do remember seeing that, and they may talk a little bit about why he's not on anymore.
Oh, okay, so it's just after like post. What year did it come out? Like 16 or 15?
No, I think it's like 18 or 19.
Oh, okay, so that recent.
It's only a couple years old.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
I remember they were taping it. I heard him on Artie's old podcast, and when he was on Artie's old podcast, they had the people taping him, and that was after he was not allowed on anymore.
All right, go for it.
So you tell me what you're doing. I saw a VCR clip up.
What I actually just threw up there was the beginnings of the Hulu documentary.
Oh, okay.
If we want to take
I don't remember this guy being in the documentary.
We want to take a little taste of that.
Sure.
So let's
Oh yeah. This is the beginning.
Okay, let's see. I won't play it obviously the whole thing, but let's see.
Since the 1970s, and was named the comedian's comedian by Vanity
Chris
Fair.
Conley.
Have you heard that before about him being called like the comic? He seems, yes, he is. He's in a completely different level than everybody else doing comedy, I think.
You gonna be nice tonight, man? I'm not gonna book you no more.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Go back.
Studio.
Pretend you didn't see me.
Okay.
When he's produced, pretend this never happened.
Now go back.
Go back there.
What is your dream?
I'll definitely watch this.
My dream, it usually involves a midget. Not that dream. Yes. The one when you're awake and you think of your career. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
then it's 5 midgets.
He definitely has Asperger's. You know, he'll never look anybody in the eyes.
Yep,
he
that's
usually
squint.
has his eyes closed.
Yep.
He doesn't kind of like communicate with people on a one-on-one basis. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that squint, I think, is the physical characteristic of it.
Gottfried is a stand-up comic who has appeared in a number of films, and he always seems to play an obnoxious creep.
No, bitch!
My dad says third grade is...
Your dad is a moron! Look, I'm so ticked off that I'm molting.
You are single-handedly responsible for creating the position of full-time censor at the Emmys.
I sleep a lot better since Pee Wee Herman's been arrested. Masturbation's a crime. I should be on death row.
All right, there you go. So that's just a little bit of like the Hulu thing. I don't want to stream that because we're not kind of allowed to. But Yeah, I would definitely take a look at that. All right, so let's get to some. Yeah, he definitely has an affliction. So let's get to some best of Gilbert-y kind of stuff. So Matt, just go wherever you want to with it. I'm totally fine with wherever you want to go.
All right, we'll do something that we haven't heard on the Howard Stern show. We'll listen to a lot of laughter in life. So this is from the K-Rock time when Artie was there. This is all from the same show. Of course, they set up the news with Gilbert appropriate stories, where they drop a story about a teacher who talks to her young African-American student and asks her, "Oh, there's a gorilla there. Is that your parents?" And it goes from there.
Earlier, I thought Gilbert would like to know, a mom wants a teacher who made a racist remark to her child and is still teaching her to be fired. A white queen's...
So is there any question that they load stories like this up when Gilbert's on?
Of course.
They want him to behave this way.
Of course, it's just like when Robin would do the news and she would start off with something about like an animal being abused because she knew that Howard with Beth, had this affinity towards, paying attention to abused animals. And it was her way of like a notice me daddy kind of thing to get him to, react to one of her otherwise boring, fucking tedious, tawdry news stories.
Yep.
Right.
Earlier, I thought Gilbert would like to know, a mom wants a teacher who made a racist remark to her child and is still teaching her to be fired. A white Queens teacher has come under fire for allegedly asking a black fourth grader whether a picture of a gorilla on her folder was of her family.
Is that your family?
So,
but then she apologized and said, "Here, have a banana." So it's okay.
Actually, she apologized and said, "Don't tell anybody I said that to you." But the kid was depressed for several days, so the mother finally got to the bottom of why the kid was walking around depressed. She told the story of the teacher saying that, the gorilla picture on her folder was a picture of her family.
If you don't tell anyone, I'll give you a tire to play with.
And the teacher has been reprimanded, but has been left in the classroom. So the mom is saying, my daughter really shouldn't have to go and face that teacher every day.
Can you imagine a teacher says your family is basically looks like apes, and then they say, okay, the teacher can stay and teach the kid? That's insane.
Hey, who's that? Your Uncle McGilla?
You get a lot of exercise climbing the Empire State Building.
Doesn't make much sense. But these things do go on. What did you think of the story of the kid?
Can I walk you home to your cage?
You got an A, Mighty Joe.
You would have been a good teacher, brother.
Gilbert would never have stopped. He'd have gone on and on and on and on.
He's very sensitive to children. You'll never have children of your own, will you?
Apologize to your parents.
Oh, did he say the N-word?
Terrible about what I said.
If you were a teacher, you would say that?
Yes.
Let me clean that up.
Tell your parents I feel terrible about the book.
Wait, Matt, is he saying the N-word through this?
What's that?
Is he saying the N-word through this? Is that what we're missing out on?
He first said the N-word, and then he used the S word that gets you scared on Halloween, if you get my drift.
All right.
Okay. All right, continue.
That S word might be good to get rid of.
Yeah, no, perfect. Go ahead.
Earlier, I thought Gilbert
I started over again.
would like to know, a mom wants a...
All right, that was almost the end of it. We're not going to go through the whole thing.
Oh, God. That's
Who's the more
clip in here?
Who's the more fit parent if left to their own devices? You leave your kids with Howard and Gilbert. You got no maid. You have no cook. You have no help whatsoever. It's just them and their kids. Who calls Child Protective Services first? Which is the worst parent?
Who? Between who?
Howard versus Gilbert.
Oh, Howard.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about Gilbert's parenting, but I think that he has a normal family.
From what I hear,
and he's not divorced.
Apparently, he's a really good dad. Isn't he?
Very involved. Kids.
Yep.
He seems like a great dad in that movie. It seems very natural. I mean, it's a movie, so you make it look as good as you want it to. But I think he would be fine with a couple of kids.
I do too.
Howard, not a chance.
Yep.
All right, so allow me to play a horrific clip that John sent me, which is classic Gilbert, and this is this
You want
is
me to give you a
Gilbert.
little?
Yeah, please do.
All
Please do.
right. So Dennis Miller, who has not been on the show since 1992, this is one of the appearance that Howard writes in Private Parts that turned Dennis off. Gilbert basically sexually harasses his son Holden. His son Holden's a year old, and
I have another clip where he's talking a little pedophilia too. So this is
Oh wait, so should we play this first, and then you can cue that up?
this one's a longer one. This is the Amy Heckerling story where nobody but himself, he decides to start talking to this woman whose parents were in the Holocaust, starts telling her Holocaust jokes with no audience. And she just happens to call into the show to say how horrible Gilbert is. And Gilbert calls in and he just continues on. I have such respect for Gilbert for telling those type of horrible jokes without an audience, without any thought that this is ever going to come out. Yeah. And yet he still goes ahead like he's got an audience.
He doesn't give a rat's ass. All right, this is actually cringeworthy, yet in its own stupid way, just ridiculous. And, I get that he's just fucking around, but it's really, really emblematic of how fucked up.
Let me just say, Dennis hadn't been on the show for 4 years previously.
And
So
he sounded like that he was calling in from like LA, so it's probably like 4 o'clock in the morning. He's fucking tired and groggy.
His wife is next to him, and so this is Dennis's kind of play. Dennis is kind of playing ball. He's trying to sell that. At that time, I don't know people, any comedy nerds, the talk show wars of the early '90s, where there was 6 talk shows at the same time. It was Leno, it was Letterman, it was Arsenio. Dennis Miller had a syndicated show that was on WPAX, Monique, in New York, and it lasted about 6 months. So he was.
Nick Mackay was his sidekick.
Wow, how'd you know that? That's a crazy.
Because I'm a savant when it comes to those.
Nerd just like you, Johnny. All right, I'm going to play this thing through because I'm scared to pause it that it might not come back.
Very obscure clip.
Yeah, here we
I
go.
can't believe I can't speak to Allie. She's not talking to me, huh? So you're talking
up now. She's grilling me some griddle cakes.
What's going on with Allie? She's still working, or she's pretty much retired?
Yeah, we had a baby, Howard.
You're kidding? A baby Howard? I didn't know that. You named it Howard? Yes. That would be an honor. This is our baby Howard. What'd you name the baby? Oh, wait, let me guess. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a little boy.
All right, I'll say, is it a boy or a girl?
It's a little boy.
All right, I'll say Cody. I'll say Regis. No. Let me think. Harvey. No, nobody would do that.
No, not Henry.
Not Henry. Hank?
No, that's your 3. Holden.
Heine.
Holden. I was just about to say that.
Holden.
From Catcher in the Rye.
Why are you doing that?
We named him William Holden after Catcher in the Rye.
Why are you doing that?
I like that name.
I knew a guy in high school, Holden McGroin. My daughter's normal names.
What are their names?
Butterfly, Freedom. No, Deborah and Emily. And you know what? That's all. Kids don't want to stand out. They don't want to stand out. They just want to have regular names and sort of blend in with the rest of their friends. In fact, can she come here without you even? I don't even care if you're here. What's she wearing right now? What is she sleeping?
That's the...
That Gilbert. Isn't that disgusting?
Gilbert Gottfried
I'm
just
sorry.
asked what you sleep in.
We're about to get an answer.
She's got an anti-Gilbert black jacket on.
Don't make me pause. I may not come back.
That woman doesn't. Gilbert's touching himself.
I'll do it, but go ahead.
Okay, Dennis Miller's wife is a model, or was a model, and her name is Carolyn Epsley. Her claim to fame was she acted in the Too Shy, right? And so that was, he met her, I guess, in the late 80s when he was doing SNL, and she is sleeping next to him, and she wakes up, and they kind of sexually harass her during this as well.
Okay.
Right now. Gilbert, get your hand off my leg, you pervert.
Hey. See how this happens?
What?
See, you made me made me. So you suck. Okay, so we're at 1:30. Let me see if I can get back to it. God damn it.
How could it?
We're just getting to the good part.
I'll never do. I didn't.
You guys. I can't believe we've been on the air over 4 fucking years and we still can't get our shit together when it comes to these fucking things. All right, here we go.
All right, Dennis.
There's my son, Holden.
Oh, here we go.
Let me talk to Holden.
It's Uncle Howie.
How old is Holden?
How old is Holden?
He's 22 months.
See, you got to come out to my house, man. We'll play with the kids and everything.
He looks like he just woke up. Aren't they the cutest?
Yeah, they're the greatest for 5 minutes.
Now it's her.
I throw the kids to my wife.
Oh, he just woke up. He can't get speech together yet.
See that? He can get the speech together. Believe me. Tell him it's show business. You get right on the air. Same with Gilbert. He can't get speech together the first half hour of the show.
Here, honey, say hi to Howard for a sec.
Hello? Holden? Holden? This is Uncle Howard. Holden, what are you wearing?
I'm sorry.
What happened to Holden?
Just asked my son what he's wearing.
Gilbert's got a lot of emotional problems.
Holden, how big are your testicles?
Gilbert's like, Holden, can you send me a Polaroid of yourself?
Put your hand inside your diaper and rub.
Gilbert's a little pervert.
What a sicko.
I hope you never have Gilbert on your show.
He's too
I can pass any lesson on to the son. It's to avoid Gilbert Gottfried.
Holden gets more women than Gilbert.
Holden, I want you to unpin your diaper, okay? just reach around, slowly unpin.
Right. Come on, Gilbert. Stop revealing your true
He
self.
sounds too familiar with this
Slap
character.
some baby powder on.
Well, Dennis, we're here to help you. You can feel free to call in anytime or come visit us, and we'll help you with your TV show and get the word out that there's a new...
I won't abuse the privilege, Howard, but if you are in Los Angeles, you want to stop over, come over and say hi.
I'd be happy to do.
Oh my God, that's so horrible. By the way,
It's crazy. It's crazy. And that was a really famous clip that they never played again, and it was in private parts, and they wrote.
I wonder why.
Well, I mean, it was Howard talked about it all the time. He would never play the clip, but he talked about it all the time because Dennis stayed off the show. Since then, he hasn't been on since fucking 92. And they kind of like each other. There's this weird mutual respect, but Dennis hasn't been on the show. And Howard would talk about Dennis has an ex-wife as well. So there was a time, I think, in the first interview they did where Howard harped on Dennis having an ex-wife and Dennis went to Howard. It's like, you gotta edit that out. She's going to kill me. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. So Howard edited that out. And it was a constant thing where he would just bring up this controversial shit. Dennis has no sense of humor about himself. He's as great as he was in the 90s and 80s. He's an uptight fucking
using his fucking child.
I know, but I'm not even saying that. Right. Exactly. He already has no sense of humor about himself. Could you imagine? He has to pretend to go along with that because he's trying to sell that show. But Jesus, I mean, he has every right to be offended, of course. But that's insane. I mean, that's off, and that's transcripted in private parts. It was one of these moments that's just like lost. And I had it on a hard drive.
All right, Matt. Let's swing back around to something a little bit funnier, please, because that was a little disturbing by
That's the legs Gilbert goes to, Monique. He has absolutely no limits. There's nothing he won't say. And people think there's like a loose cannon. He is the loose cannonist of loose cannons. It doesn't get, and he trolls comedians like nobody trolls comedians. And I said to you that he goes after Seinfeld and Dice, and they're not used to anyone going after him. And that's kind of the beauty of him, I guess, in a perverse way.
All right, so this one is a little bit less of Gilbert and more of the start of Jackie with his laugh of the horrible stories. But Gilbert here, and he just kind of overtakes this one.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian has assisted his 25th patient with a suicide. This time, the woman's body was found in the parking lot of a hospital. In a car.
Jackie's got dark humor, man.
So this time they just drove the woman to the hospital and left her there so she could be found. That sounds like dying with dignity to me.
He beat her with a tire iron and threw her off the bridge.
Naked.
Yes. Esther Cohen, who was 46, suffered from multiple sclerosis. She was nearly quadriplegic and covered with bed sores.
Sounds like Gilbert.
There was another commuter plane accident
There's Jackie. Okay.
This time down in Georgia. 30-seater, I think 4 or 5 people were killed, including the pilot. The rest are in the hospital, recovering from their injuries. The plane broke into 3 pieces. Oh, please, Jack.
Jackie, the news can't get any funnier than that.
And an investigation is now going on. Oh, my God.
He goes nuts with that guy.
I didn't know this was a funny story.
He'd love to hear Jackie laugh. That inhuman laugh.
Yeah.
How many died, Robin? How many died?
4 people. Really, that's wrong, Gilbert, to laugh like that. Jackie may be insensitive, but you don't have to follow in his footsteps.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, Robin. Sorry about that.
Yes, please.
Could be very offensive.
Yes.
I hate to deal with another tragic story right after that. You
Of
guys
course
had such a
not.
good time. Some U.S. diplomats were killed over in Bosnia.
Gilbert has a strange way of dealing with his grief.
Yes.
All right. He's okay now.
They went over there to try to figure out how to get these people to get involved in some peaceful negotiations and became victims of these ethnic wars. Oh, boy. President Clinton will interrupt his Wyoming vacation to return to Washington tomorrow to attend their burials at Arlington National Cemetery.
That's so fucked up.
Oh.
You're crying.
All right. He's okay now.
All right, can I go on?
Yeah.
Because
imagine having the
What's that?
Imagine having the superpower of having such an infectious laugh.
Wow.
Whether you're Gilbert, whether you're Jackie, whether you're Monique, whether you're Artie, and you don't even need. You could sit in a news commentary, and you don't even need to comment. Your laugh says it all. You don't even feel the pressure to say anything. Your laugh just carries the show. I mean, is that a superpower or what?
You know what? There's nothing in the world, nothing to me in the world better than a great fucking knock yourself down laugh. You know, I gotta say, when Bon Jovial did the birthday celebration with Brett and his wife, I literally almost peed my pants. Like I couldn't express in laughter or anything how I felt at that moment because it was so spectacularly funny that he would do this, and it actually goes down as, no joke, an absolute fucking highlight in a year that has been so fucking sucky for all of us. It really goes down as an absolute highlight of hysterics that I don't think can be compared to this year, without question. I mean, that was just one of the funniest fucking things that has ever happened to me in my recent adult life, and
especially when you're caught off guard,
forever
and you have no idea it's coming.
Oh
And when
my
you're-
God.
Yeah, when you're blindsided like that, there's no better way to get the guttural, genuine laugh, and that person who could just carry the laugh and keep it going for 5 straight minutes, where you just let it go. You know, I'm jealous of someone who just lets it go and can laugh with no, like there's no tomorrow. Because
reckless abandon. I mean, there's nothing funnier. All right, Maddie, what else you got for us? Oh, I know. You must hate
Gilbert,
Maddie. Is Maddie like a bad word to use? Because
Yeah,
you're not.
I do that all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Because some
All right,
people
so
don't like
Gilbert,
the childlike version of their name.
They bring up the Pope and the fact that the Pope might
By the way,
away might be replaced by a black Pope.
Listen, can we get Gilbert to do a little bit of the count? You know, the Pope? What's up with that? Come on.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was going to bring this up to Gilbert. They're saying that the Pope is close to death.
Yeah.
And that
They're paying close attention to his fart.
no, actually, he's close to death, and that they're saying he's appointed so many black cardinals that the next pope is probably going to be black.
He's only hope.
I want and to take over my job.
Oh, stop
Why did you have to bother?
Why do you have to say that?
You know he's gotten into that mode.
Have a bone in his nose. And he could dance around a pot of boiling water. And he cooks up white missionaries in, going booga booga. I want the next pope. Ooga booga.
Bring me the darkest boy to be the pope.
Yum yum, eat 'em up.
Now,
thank you, Al. That's beautiful.
Are you happy now?
Now are you happy?
Just keep it coming. I love it.
Give me a picture of a gorilla, and I will make him the pope.
Are you now the racist pope?
All right.
He brought his family with him.
Could we drop Gilbert into the wildfires in California?
Can we hear another solar blast? Please, children, would you please be quiet when I accept the new pope?
B2 Howard is a veteran Los Angeles TV reporter.
Oh, look, Savage Steve Austin just came.
Oh, stop it.
Hey, how you doing, pope?
So he gets into it again, too. They get back into the Pope, and he doesn't know who Steve Austin is. He's calling Stone Cold Steve Austin Savage Steve Austin. This is right after they had Steve Austin on and already embarrassed them. He did
I love the way the Pope and Dracula are the same person. I love it.
I don't know if this is to be respected or disrespected by Gilbert, admired or not. He has no notion of updating his pop culture reference for us. He is going to stay in the 60s and 70s. You say Steve Austin, he thinks it's a $6 million man. He could give a shit. He is staying, with Lon Chaney and fucking King Kong. He doesn't care about anything.
Paul Lynde and Charles Nelson Riley.
He won't get cable. He's right.
Yes, Lorraine, you're on the air.
It's Marie, but Lorraine is okay. I just told him I'm 36 years old and I just peed in my pants in the car.
What made you pee your pants in the car?
Well, Gilbert number one started it off, and the fact that Artie sounds like he's peeing his pants in the background.
I am.
Oh,
Well,
God.
ma'am, I don't want to say anything, but I just defecated in my pants.
Now, what caused you to do that?
And he didn't even think it was funny. He just,
I just do that. There's nothing particularly funny going on. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Glad we could do that for you.
I just happen to love Gilbert's racist Pope character. That's what I'll be opening with.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
All right, go ahead.
I accept the new to the Vatican. Just make sure he doesn't steal anything from here. My watch is missing.
Your point is, I imagine, that you are not a racist, that you are
But the Pope is.
you are commenting on
The character.
the character.
I can't help it, the Pope is a racist.
All right. So much for the easy laughs. Gilbert, I thought you were a
Those
professional.
colored people get back from the dead.
Back was the second.
Of the living. To put them in big pots of boiling water.
Yes.
Okay. Bon Jovial, John wants to know.
Yeah, I see that.
John did not answer my question, God damn it.
Stop the clip there. Talk about stand-up dates in 2015.
Did already do gig with Gilbert.
Yeah, I would, and I think Matt should sign. Sorry, a Wednesday spot at Gotham Comedy in 2015. Matt, you could probably sign off on this. I believe Artie and Gilbert did shows together. Obviously, post Howard, when they're both banned from the show, they had that in common. So I'd say between 2012, when he did the Nick and Artie show, till about the Artie Twitter podcast, for about a couple of years off and on, they would do shows together in and around the tri-state area.
Yeah, they did. They talked about it on Artie's old podcast that Gilbert was on.
Oh, I'm crying that Bon Jovial thought you were a bit rude for not answering his question from 10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, Bon Jovial. We're not doing the show for you.
Speaking of callbacks that are ill, could you imagine? I was thinking about this. We should look up Dennis Miller's son Holden and go, Holden, you were on the Howard Stern show, and play him that clip, and it's Gilbert Gottfried, pedophile, harassing him. How great would that be? He has no idea. Holden Miller, look him up and then send him that clip. I would love to. He has no idea.
Well, how long ago was that? Because I'm looking at pictures.
That kid's 28 now.
I'm looking for pictures of him, and I don't see.
He looks like Dennis with no hair plugs.
Well, it's funny because I googled Dennis Miller's son Holden, and
the Marlon Brando he's named after.
And like this pops up, and I know it's wrong.
I'm just looking at. I see one guy who looks like Dave Portnoy, an uglier version.
Yes, you're so right. No, that's
look at those Google images. My PC's growing hair plugs.
That is so not his son Holden. Yeah.
It looks like
I don't
Martin
see anything recent. I don't.
No, it's all him as a kid, and
yeah,
Holden's out of the picture.
yeah, I'm not seeing that puberty was good to him.
It's probably not favorable to him. Yeah, you're probably exactly right.
And babe, Gilbert thought you were sexy at 22 months, babe.
What's Gilbert going to jerk off to?
Exactly. Not Holden. Sure. Oh my God, I'm like sweating from looking at how retarded that person was. What, Bon Jovial? What is it? What is it you want to know? Yeah, I'm lost.
Wow, you see what Marmaduke's writing? See what you do is? That's a reference to Gilbert impersonating Artie, Monique, I think. And I sent you a clip. I sent you a clip from YouTube that is, I believe it's that. And so I'll just set this up a little bit. I think it was, what year was this? Like 2004. Artie came out with that. I think it's the Whiskey Talking CD. So Gilbert contacted Luddite Artie about how do you make a CD or a DVD, and Gilbert translated the conversation back to Howard about Artie giving him technological advice. And what you do is you get the DVD, and it's kind of like that. And so I don't know if you see it in an email. It says,
which one?
It says funny. Gilbert does Artie. I think it says Gilbert. It's a YouTube clip I sent. I think it's a 30 email I sent.
I think I have it. Okay, hang on. Gilbert's Artie impression?
Yes. I believe this is it. I didn't listen to it.
This is it. It's fantastic.
Okay, I have that. Hang on.
You got the DVD and you got the blah.
All right, here we go. Hang on.
His tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, come on.
You muted it.
Doors shut.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, what you gotta do is read the news now.
Thanks. I'm reading about Jessica Simpson.
Signings Friday. I don't even know.
Gilbert will be signing copies of his DVD Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Artie told you. Do it on Friday.
Yeah, everyone leaves town on Friday.
What you gotta do?
Friday at 5 p.m. at Tower Records in Manhattan. Rob, go on, wrap it up because
yes, unfortunately, we have some bad news. The U.S. military says 2 women suicide bombers have attacked the Baghdad Police Academy.
Well, I told them what you have to do is strap bombs, explosives to yourself. That's what I would do.
At least
I would go to the police station with explosives, and then I would blow myself up, killing myself and others.
Yeah, 27 people are reported to have been killed, another 32 wounded. The military says the bombers walked into a classroom and detonated their bombs among the students. No U.S. forces were in the
this way you kill the children as well as yourselves. That's why you become a suicide bomber.
An Iraqi militant group says it is news is flu season.
See, when you got the flu, you should put a cold compress on your head and take aspirin.
While the focus leading up to the season has been where to get a flu shot, there.
All right, forget it.
See, if they fatten the germs up as big as me, you could just see them coming from 10 blocks away and not go near them.
Anything else, Robin?
Sanitize.
Right. So bears are being killed.
I've been shot at twice.
Who's that, Artie?
Yeah.
Hunters have
I can't go to Jersey.
been given
I have to stay inside and close my curtain.
given permission to go out and kill the bear. A number of activists have taken to the woods protesting the hunt, which allows hunters to kill the bear in only certain
Fire!
parts of the state. Oh. The organization which displays. How is the DVD going? But
How's that DVD that Artie told you to make?
That I to create it.
You own the rights to that?
Business accoutrements of Artie.
You know Artie was on heroin when he told you to do that?
Actually, I think I was.
What you gotta do is you should get recording of your act. You get a recording of the act, then they also film it too. So if it's filmed and recorded, that's what they would use on a DVD. If it's just a CD, then it could just be a recording. And then you should have your name on it. And
That'll be a big seller.
Yeah, you could put credits on it too.
Yeah. Well,
Can you get me any heroin?
Now, if you want to purchase.
Don't call it over. Don't call it over. I come through on the day that your daughter from Multimedia.
Yes, Gary.
So I noticed that.
Away?
I'm with you.
All right. Okay.
I'm with every second.
Is that Jessel as me?
Well, a wonderful time that I'm having here. And I love helping Gilbert Gottfried.
Robin, you're
with
next.
His DVDs.
Yeah.
How's Gilbert's stand-up? Has anybody that's on this listening thread right now actually seen Gilbert live ever?
I have not.
I've seen stuff on video, and it's not like what he's on Stern. This is a totally different person here.
Well, that's how virtual. That's actually a testament to how.
Years.
That's a testament of what a versatile comedian is, because he could hang in this. He could make a stand-up be different. He could do, and then he does a roast, Monique. I believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I believe he is the originator of the too soon cliche, So on 9/11, they did a Hugh Hefner roast, and he was the first guy to make a fucking 9/11 joke. Monique, I mean, you could still smell the Dow Jones ticker in the air at that point, and Gilbert was making a 9/11 joke, and he's the only guy that could pull that off with it, no cats, and people just that's.
Well, he bombed there. The audience completely turned on him. They were hissing at him, and he just turns around and he tells the Aristocat joke. And he gets the crowd back behind him.
It's almost like he can't bomb because he's so Teflon. He so doesn't give a shit, and the audience could smell that he doesn't give a shit, and he could spin anything to his advantage, and he just is so unique in that sense. But so, I
was fucking an English woman the other day. I couldn't tell if she was sick with the plague or if she was just an English woman.
Too soon.
Well, at least you can't blame this on the Jews. It was an iceberg, not a Goldberg or a Silverberg.
Too soon.
Lincoln was a great thinker. I wonder what the last thing to go through his head was. When I heard we were walking a trail of tears, I thought it was a trail of tears that ladies walk when they walk from my bedroom to the car at 3 a.m.
Too soon.
I guess Mexicans will remember the Alamo too, especially when they need a quick pick-me-up when they're scrubbing your toilets.
Jesus fucking Christ. I was trying to find the 9/11 thing. I guess that's not it.
It's on there, but it's called something else. Like if you look up Gilbert Gottfried roast Hugh Hefner, it's like the first thing that comes up, but it doesn't. It's not titled.
Try Gilbert Gottfried
that way.
Aristocrats, because that's what he turns around and does. Tells the aristocrat joke.
It's almost like Gilbert's a one-man puppet show. It's like he's a human being and a puppet at the same time. And you can't take it's almost like he's a real life Otto and George rolled into one. You can't take serious what he says, and he has no accountability. And you can't teach there's might be 3 people in the world that have, maybe Don Rickles and 2 other people in the history of comedy that can do this. Where you can't touch them.
Let me see if this is it. Hang on.
My mind works. I will basically address the elephant in the room.
I have to catch
There
a
we go.
flight to California. I can't get a direct flight. They said they have to stop at the Empire State Building first.
Oh, that's the joke. That's the whole joke.
But he wants to groan.
11.
He wants to groan. It's not like he cares if you laugh or not. You know, you can't go ahead. He just doesn't. He wants that groan as much as a comedian wants to laugh.
He opened up for Belinda Carlisle.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
in the sand.
teenage girls there, and he starts telling vagina jokes using the C word. Literally just got him pulled right off the stage.
Really?
He just doesn't care.
So is that something we have or no?
I have something where they talk about it a little bit. I can play a little bit of the Holocaust thing if you want to hear that.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear that.
Right.
Oh, wait, the
I
Germans
love you, Howard, and I hate you, Gilbert. You're gonna rot in hell with Hitler.
Gilbert says
Both of you.
Gilbert says that there are Germans knocking on your door right now. The Nazis. All right.
I love you, Howard, but there are stormtroopers knocking at my door right now.
All right. Hey, Gilbert, why did you say Anne Frank was a pig? I heard you say that. All right. Very good.
And he's not only
I meant before she lost.
not only is he a loser, but he's a cheap loser. That's
Right.
sad.
All right, Gilbert, you're a cheap loser. Okay.
And stop making jokes to 10-year-old girls. Stop making dirty jokes to 10-year-old girls.
Gilbert.
He made a dirty joke to a 10-year-old girl?
Dirty. Oh, Howard. If the names I keep using.
Gilbert, really?
Oh my God, what he said.
What is that, to Amy Heckerling's daughter?
She is the most. I take care of her. She's the most unbelievable child in the world, Howard. She is like you would. She has a sense of humor like you're unbelievable.
Does she make fun of the Holocaust?
Yeah, no, ever. But she makes fun of Gilbert. She says, Gilbert, you don't want to. You wipe your ass, but then you use the same toilet paper because you're so cheap.
Really?
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
She said that to Gilbert?
Did Gilbert hit on her?
And Gilbert just stays there and looks.
Hey, Gilbert, you're keeping pretty fancy company, Amy Heckerling.
Oh, yes. And then her daughter.
Amy is the greatest woman. You are just probably in love with her forever. And she is smart and great. You think she would be with a loser like you?
No, Gilbert wants to go out with her daughter. He's not into Amy.
I would like your job so I could wash her daughter every day.
Do you get to wash her daughter every night?
No,
You don't?
she
Gilbert?
has a shower, but she's a great kid.
Gilbert help her with it?
I'm not a pervert, Howard. I'm not a pervert.
Gilbert
I'm
is.
a normal person.
Gilbert, what job do you want?
I would like the job washing Amy's daughter.
He's like, oh, God. Oh, he's so jealous.
Well, Gilbert only wants her daughter because she doesn't have a son. I would like to wash her son, but she doesn't have a son.
Okay, I'll take a daughter.
Gilbert, why did you go into comedy? Why didn't you go into like child care, taking care of young children?
Wouldn't he make the greatest nanny?
Yeah, The Nanny, starring Gilbert Gottfried.
I'd like to take care of little kids because I want to give something back to the community.
What a great TV show. Gilbert goes and knocks on the door. He wants to be the nanny, like Fran Drescher.
Right, yeah.
But he turns on the first couple of jobs because the children aren't young enough. And then he finally gets a job changing the young boy's diaper.
So he needs kids that can't talk.
It's so true. Trolling before it was cool. That's exactly what Gilbert would do. I did pull up the classic Gilbert as Gottfried when he appeared on the Howard Stern TV show, which is like such a silly fucking clip.
It's nice.
I wanted to, it's nice. Yeah. And
Gottfried.
he's only marginally less ridiculous than Andrew Dice Clay. Like just in terms of his.
I know.
It's so fucking classic. Let me play a little bit.
All right. This should be wild. Here he is, Gilbert Dice Gottfried, everybody.
Can you hear this? Because it's really
Yes.
low in my ear.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Formerly Cowsills, Gilbert Dice Gottfried.
Cowsills.
Oh,
It's so 70s.
hey, Robin, you better. That smoking stick is really working. He really looks like a smoker. Yeah. Oh, man. And you know what's great about Gilbert Dice Gottfried?
Look at-
All his ticks and mannerisms. Look at him.
Look at D. Snyder's wardrobe for Howard.
Look at him. Is he old enough to smoke? I mean, look at him. Look at how great he is.
I think we're experiencing his first cigarette.
I think he's gonna vomit. But you know, the whole Gilbert Dice persona is so cigarette. It's just funny to see him smoke.
It's amazing how he can pack in the crowds, though, with this shtick.
You know, Robin, a lot of people said, well, Gilbert... A lot of people said, will Gilbert Dice Gottfried, will people want to see him?
Isn't it amazing how it's all cigarettes, this new act?
Nice to see him without the yarmulke, too. I'll tell you that. But, you know, a lot of people said, will Gilbert Dice Gottfried be able to pack in the stadium like the other Dice?
Will the people respond to him in the same way?
But I think his cigarette stick is as funny as the real Dice. Just watching him is funny.
I'm telling you. I don't think he has to say anything.
Hickory dickory.
Hickory dock. Hey, how's it going, sweetheart? Oh!
You know, you're so irreverent.
Thank God Fred's there.
I can hardly hear it at all. I'm not gonna lie. It's really super low for me.
Now, hickory dickory dock.
It's okay. I mean, you could make out.
All right.
Maybe I should leave because...
Do you remember how dickish that jacket was? And like people
Yeah.
bought that? God damn.
Well, comedians going for gimmicks was.
Do you have, Matt, do you have the Robin thing? There was something that I think you had that we really wanted to play, and I can't remember what it was now. Didn't you have like a really ridiculous Gilbert Robin thing?
I've got some stuff here where both Artie sounds high as hell, and Gilbert are just laughing and talking all over the news, and Robin is just getting so pissed off. So
I love that. Can you play that for us?
Yeah, this is like three things. This is from the same episode, and I guess I got to play the first one because everything ties into this first thing that Artie says, and he says it at the wrong time with the wrong person present.
At a bachelor party once when I was working at the port, a guy was fucking a black hooker, and he said to her, how much is it? Do you mind if I say dirty shit? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. He goes, do you mind if I get racial? That turns me on. And she's like, I don't give a shit, whatever, you know. So he pays her, and he got kicked out of the room within a second. We're like, what the fuck did you say? He goes, I don't know. I said, can I say whatever I want? I paid her good money. I'm like, what did you say? He goes, I said I wanted to fuck her.
I didn't throw him out. Thank God there's some decency.
She got up. Get the fuck out of here.
Somebody draws the line somewhere.
Did you go right? What about warming her up? You went right to the N-word?
You have to work up to that.
What this guy
Oh, that's awful.
She started throwing shit at him. Get the fuck out of here.
You got some friends. I got to meet your friend.
And that's that's actually the same guy who was the cop. But anyway,
Gilbert's here. See Gilbert tomorrow.
That's what it sounded like.
See Gilbert.
cocksucker.
See Gilbert Gottfried tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at Caroline's on Broadway in Manhattan. For reservation, call 212-757-4100. And to purchase Gilbert's DVD, Dirty Jokes,
Yeah,
Gottfried.com. And Robin, what is in the news?
Do you know James Brown?
Did I mention I want to fuck you?
That was the wrong story to tell. Gilbert at the beginning of the news. That was the wrong story.
That's my new pickup line.
You sure your friend wasn't Gilbert?
All right, it was Gilbert.
All right.
James Brown's body still hasn't been buried.
I wonder how many times James Brown said that.
I don't think James Brown ever said that.
So she gets really pissed at them when they start talking about the unveiling of the very first iPhone, which Howard's very prescient when he says, that's going to fail. I've got a Treo. A Treo's so much better.
That's amazing, actually.
During the commercials, I went over, and I'm not going to say what I said to Gilbert.
Oh,
but
did you have a personal moment?
I have personal. I've never seen
which
a guy,
is the most uncomfortable thing.
Yeah,
I witnessed that. Howard's talking to him. Gilbert's just looking at him like, yeah.
Gilbert's in a special coma all of a sudden.
Two words will get him out of it.
That worked for everybody.
Well, that ain't funny. All right, let's go. Robin, yes.
It's kind of funny.
Well, I don't like that. Go ahead, yes.
I'm telling a story of a guy who's clearly a racist.
Hey, take it easy.
Right? The guy was a racist.
That was
You're
out
making
of
a point.
context. Out of
He
context.
paid an extra $50 to
Nobody
say
remembers an hour ago. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think our
It's
audience.
11:07. Let Robin get to the news for good.
I got to
we
get to the
talked
wrap-up
about this-
show. Come on.
We talked about this earlier. The Apple Corporation has come out with a new phone. It's to compete, I suppose, with the Blackberries and the Treos of the world. And it has a completely automated touch screen format. Here's
But the
Steve
Treo
Jobs.
has that.
Gilbert, what's another way to say BlackBerry?
No, I don't want to hear it. Please let me get done.
Encouraging him. He's sitting over there sleeping. Leave him alone. He's trying to get some rest.
I remember Gilbert from the Hollywood Squares a few years ago, and it made me laugh.
Apple
African American.
There you go.
CEO Steve Jobs.
Holly Berry.
This is a phone he'd like to have.
Fred Rerun.
One of the big motivating factors for us is just creating something that we all
I fucking love Artie's laugh. I love
Well, thank you for laughing and cackling all over that.
Reading about the new phone.
Wheezy Berry.
Reading about the new phone that Steve Jobs and Apple are coming out with. I don't see anything all that new, but what do I know?
It's a little bit
That's on the Nipsey Russell Berry.
My Treo has a touch screen.
I'm going to ignore this.
My Treo has a touch screen.
The Slappy White Berry.
They're like the bad kissing class.
Yeah. They're screen.
The teacher's trying to go
the Stoey Mitchell Berry.
Get more obscure, why don't you?
I think Gilbert would watch TV once in a while.
Stoey Mitchell.
The watermelon eating berry.
All right, let's go, Robin. What else you got
Enough,
to do?
Benji. That was an awful joke.
The president will be speaking later today. He's finally ready to unveil his new plans for Iraq.
Cambridge.
Turn off his money. Go ahead.
The lazy berry.
No, that's fine. Come on, let's go.
The lazy berry. They're such fucking racist. This is so fucking funny.
Well, that's that guttural laugh you love about Artie. That's that
God.
fairy laugh. There's a couple different laughs with Artie. That's the one you love the most, and nobody can make him do that more than Gilbert.
He had to have been high as hell during that segment.
Why do you say that? Do you think
everyone.
why can't he just be on? Why do you think he's high during that?
I think he's high. They're just egging him on.
I think there's a direct correlation between Artie being high and his absolute fucking abject hysteric laughing. Like I really do. I think when Artie was at his highest was when he was his funniest, or when he found things the most amusing. I agree. I think so too. I don't actually think there was ever a moment when Artie wasn't high. Not gonna lie.
I gotta say, I go back. I think drugs and alcohol have been very, very good to him. It's the title of his albums. It's the backbone of his personality. He seems to revel in it. All his idols do it. It's like I think let him drink and do drugs. I think sobriety is him at his worst. Maybe it seems to work for him. Let him do it.
Matt, how much more is there to this clip?
Oh, that was the full clip.
Okay,
Then they're talking about Yoko Ono. Same show.
The guy was trying to embezzle money from Yoko Ono.
I read about that, yes.
Clean her out.
They have released. You think anybody should have that?
Yeah,
I'd like to fuck her tits. Yes.
That's not nice.
Stop it.
That's not funny.
This guy was her chauffeur for many years, and he was trying to get $2 million from her to keep from publishing a letter. In the letter, he accuses John Lennon of being a wife beater. He says he had tape.
I bet John Lennon. John Lennon said
What?
our greatest singer ever said, "I want to fuck you."
I'd like to fuck your tits. I want to fuck your big droopy yellow tits. You got yellow tits like Maud Simpson. I'd like to fuck your big yellow tits.
The guy alleged that he had tapes of Sean Lennon calling his father a wife-beating asshole.
Wow.
That I am, lad.
Wasn't Sean like really young when he died too? Like,
Yeah, but apparently Yoko must have told him stories, and one day he was talking to a friend, according to this guy, and this is what he referred to
she
his father as.
wad to a 10-year-old kid.
The guy, Carl Coco Carson, also threatened that unless Yoko came up with the money, he'd divulge tapes of her political statements against the U.S. and British governments, and critical comments about her family and friends and the Beatles. Those friends include Jackie Onassis,
Jackie Martley,
Rolling Stone founder Jan Winter, and her longtime family publicist Elliot Mintz.
Yeah. That creep who's with Paris Hilton. Now, you ever hear that guy Elliot Mintz talk?
Yes, I have.
Don't know him. Hey,
He also threatened to poison Ono. So he's now
I'd like to poison your yellow tits.
Jesus Christ.
Far be it from me to feel sorry for Robin with what she gets paid and how much she's hated, but it is very difficult to try to do news with those. How do you got to let them go, but you can't start and stop, and they're laughing.
Yeah,
and
but
don't
guys,
know.
the only reason that the news even exists is so that Howard could backload all those fucking commercials.
Totally.
You know, it got to a point where, okay, so when she used to do the news in the middle of the show, at least he was a little bit more engaged in it. But as it got later and later and later and later in the show, you know, all he wanted to do was wrap
check
up.
out.
So
Yep.
what Robin tried to do was skew news stories towards something that she thought Howard would be interested in.
Well, what could I say? And I did that thread a few years ago about what would we rename Radio Gunk if the names we were going over, and there was like I was like, fact of the matter is,
You had the Mr. Pibbs one. You had the
right.
yeah.
There was, I said, quite frankly,
Yes,
was one of them, and this is like 2-3 years ago. But the big one was, and this is, I think, the number one choice was Anything Else, Robin. Because that's really one of the signs of the show getting shittier is the more he said Anything Else, Robin, during the news. That's kind of, so like you said, when he was engaged and he had some commentary, and Howard is really good. If he had Belzer on and he had whoever else was sitting in the news, and Richard Lewis, whatever, Brenner, and Gilbert. And he would have them at the end of the news, and he would have Pat Cooper. He would have scathing commentaries. And the more you heard Anything Else, Robin, the shittier the show got. It was a direct correlation to it.
Yeah, Bon Jovi just said, no, John, you just roll with them if they're interrupting. You just throw out a few stories if they're interrupting. She should know that they're more interesting than her.
Yeah, but this is
That's
a whole
just-
other level. You got them both giggling and screaming over
It's
each other.
because she's
a
such a
whole other level.
narcissist that she
Yeah.
thinks it is all about her news, and she thinks that she is actually doing something that's important to the show. But the reality is, you know, most of her news topics are nothing that anybody finds in a regular newspaper. It's just basically things that she thinks will be of interest. So somebody had just written about hearing Gilbert's real voice, because the voice that he does is fake.
Yeah, I heard that. I actually pulled that clip today. I heard that.
Do you have it?
There's a clip on YouTube. I'd
have
have to find it where it's Gilbert calling Baba Booey and leaving him a voicemail, and it's set up as these are two different people. Both of them are psychopaths.
Is it this one, Gilbert Gottfried's real voice on the Howard Stern Show?
Yes, that's it.
All right, let's take a listen, my peeps, and let's see what this actually sounds like. Hang on.
What voice is this from? Aladdin. Aladdin, he plays a parrot. Yeah. And in fact, they wanted Gilbert for this. They even drew the parrot to look like him, even before they gave him the part, because they only had Gilbert in mind.
Planning on him.
And here's a little bit of Gilbert. I have a point to make here. There's my point about how there's two different Gilberts.
All right.
The on-air persona and the off-air persona, and they're both scary. All right, here's Gilbert.
patient. Kazim was obviously less than worthy.
Oh, there's a big surprise.
Have you ever watched his cartoons?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Now, what are you saying?
Well, you should see him. You know how when celebrities watch their work on The Tonight Show? Just see Gilbert very serious during his clip.
Not making a sound.
I like when they start crying
He
during their own
everything
thing.
else.
Yeah. All right.
That he sat and listened to.
Now listen to, in contrast, this is off the air Gilbert.
Oh.
This is Gilbert calling Gary from years ago on the answering machine.
Okay.
And this is Gilbert's real voice. All right, just as scary.
Yes.
All right, but it's like a whole different guy. All right, here it is.
Yeah, Gary, it's Gilbert.
You're
I'll
kidding.
probably be there tomorrow, but if you could call me up, and just tell me what exactly is going on tomorrow. Who's going to be there and everything like that.
That's the scariest Gilbert.
Wow.
People are afraid
That's
of the
serial killer.
Yeah, that's serial killer Gilbert.
Yeah,
I mean, listen
that's like
to it.
Bruce Dern.
Hello, Gary.
And if worse comes to worse, if I could just call in. And, okay, I'll talk to you whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, bye-bye. Gilbert Manson.
Wow.
If you go back and watch
That's so great.
the old Saturday Night Live episodes that he's in, if you can actually find a clip that he's in, that's how he sounds. That's how he sounded in 1980 when he was on SNL. There's no...
I bet my friend Boff can get us those. And
Yeah,
I'll
he
reach
talked
out
now.
to him. I got it. Well, let me tell you, Howard's got some nerve saying that, because you would hear Howard without the compression and the Darth Kermit modulator. He sounds very similar to that. And if you ever hear Howard off that without...
No, but Howard has like
More
actually
clear
a
than that.
high-pitched nasal whine. It's
Yeah.
not like a normal voice. It's actually weirdly high-pitched, which is why his father never thought he could actually go into radio, because his voice sucks so bad.
Yeah, I mean the earlier days of him, when you got the smoke and mirrors of the enhanced studio, he sounded like it was like man, can I just can't, man, and there's a rhythm of that. And you're right, it was a nasally kind of witchy tone and cadence as opposed to Darth Kermit today. But he has some nerve, because I'm telling you, hear the raw audio of Howard without that studio trickery. It sounds very similar to that.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, Maddie, are there any more clips for us?
No, that's all the clips I had.
Oh my God. All right. Look at us being able to parlay an hour 45 out of 3 minuscule.
I was afraid that I would not have enough here, and then I'm like, well, we'll probably talk for like 3 hours on 3 clips, so I timed it right.
Yes, you 100% did. What, Johnny?
We do have one more. I think you should go to it. Would be remiss to not. I sent you a clip of Gilbert doing Seinfeld, and what we talked about before is what we love about Gilbert. One of the many things we love about him is he's an original troll's troll, and he would go after. I don't want to say Seinfeld's not a sacred cow at all. I mean, this is a guy with this truly charmed existence that ducks a lot of, he was an original sort of statutory rapist with Shoshana Lonstein. He's a fucking homewrecker with Jessica Sklar at the Reebok Sports Club. You live with Needle Dick on the treadmill. And he gets a pass so much, unless we're talking about old school Howard and Gilbert, who Gilbert was trolling Seinfeld in the clubs in the late 70s. So I guess the New York stand-up scene, it was the Improv, Cactor Rising Star, the comic strip, and a couple. Dangerfields came along later, but Gilbert was known for doing Seinfeld on these stages, and Seinfeld was
Seinfeld.
I'm gonna play a little of it for us, sirs. Let's take a listen. I've never heard this, by the way, so I have no idea what we're in for.
I'm sorry, I cut out on you, man.
Well, comedians. In other words, the only people who really enjoy a show are comedians.
Oh, stop it.
No. What it means is
But
that
comedians love him.
comedians are afraid of Gilbert. You will never see a comedian making fun of Gilbert.
He is a scary talent.
Because if Gilbert gets mad at you, he will just berate you. Isn't that right? You'll goof on them on stage.
Yes.
Gilbert does a whole 20 minutes on stage sometimes about, doing impressions of other comedians. And it's not complimentary.
Hey.
Jerry Seinfeld goes nuts when we do that.
I mean, I don't think it sounds anything like me.
What are you doing? An impression of Gilbert doing me?
I mean, I just think it's unfair.
I really never say.
And you're attacking me, and you're attacking Roseanne Barr. You can attack me, but don't attack Roseanne Barr.
Right. Why not?
Because, it's very easy to attack Roseanne Barr because she's a big target.
Right. To attack someone for being fat when they're fat is the easy way. Jay Leno and I sit in our houses at night, and we come up with ways to attack people who are not easy to attack.
One time, me and Jay had a big laugh because some people don't like to play comedy clubs.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I know a lot of you are going to be really upset with me, but I don't find Gilbert that funny. Don't kill me.
That's okay. It's hit or miss.
I feel like he
different strokes. Conrad
I feel
Bain.
like he personifies like a segment of 1985 comedy that I don't really think is relevant today. I actually know of somebody who just got a happy birthday cameo thing from Gilbert, and it was just okay. Like it was just not that funny. And I know he gets like $150 for a fucking cameo, and there he is with like his squinty eyes talking about being a Jew down in Florida and shit like that. And it was just really okay. So I know you guys are gonna kill me for saying that.
No,
but
it's kind of courageous. I mean, would you call him polarizing? I don't think everybody loves him across the board. It's either you get him or not even get him. I didn't say I know you get him, but there's it either hits your funny bone or it doesn't. Comedy is subjective.
He's good in a situation. He was great on Howard's show. He's great with Artie. Depending on the guest he has in his podcast, he can be funny. Out by himself, not as much. Saturday Night Live, probably the worst cast member they've ever had.
I feel like
you didn't see Anthony Michael Hall.
Anything with Artie where you can get Artie laughing in absolute fucking hysterics makes me laugh. It's like, so you're right, John, when you go back to like infectious laughs make us laugh. And I think that's part of like the entirety of why a Gilbert is appreciated. But as a general rule, I'm not necessarily sure that he's my cup of tea.
It doesn't. I can't. We can't. I'm a Gilbert fan. I certainly get what is in. I love him trolling Seinfeld and Dyson. Like I said, there's stories about Seinfeld wouldn't go into a club. He would have managers ban Gilbert from clubs because Gilbert was so reductive. Seinfeld, doing his act made it so reductive. He had reduced it down to its, hey, why do they call it podcast? It's not a pod and I'm not wearing a cast, that kind of thing. So he just like deconstructed Seinfeld comedy where it looked like hacky crap. And here's the number one sitcom star at the time. Seinfeld is not used to getting any negativity from any. He's had a very charmed life, like I said. We ducked that Shoshana Lonsky statutory rape stuff. We ducked the homewrecker stuff. And he couldn't take that, and he would go into clubs. And Gilbert was notorious for impersonating Seinfeld on stage. And then the Dice thing. Dice has no sense of humor about himself.
Dice has no sense of humor about himself, but Dice also peaked in 1984. Right. So and it's been downhill ever since, like most comedians from the 80s. So let's just do a little comparison because I pulled this clip that I just think is so fucking funny. And it was the Blue Iris prank phone call from
Blue Iris, your phony phone call. I know you like Blue Iris. Everybody loves her. She calls some old lady.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty gross.
Do you guys know of any museum?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm wearing a negligee.
Huh?
I've stoked through my Depends.
What?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Blue Iris. Am I making you hot?
What?
I love a black cock.
You go to hell, you son of a bitch. Hello?
I'm massaging my breasts.
What?
Why don't you fuck me?
I fucked you with a shotgun.
Oh, this is making me so
The
hot.
bluebirds are building your ass before you get back to Earth. You son of a bitch, and don't you call my goddamn number no more.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's right. Hello?
Can I put my finger in your ass?
Can I put a 38 in your ass, you son of a bitch?
Yeah.
You need this goddamn rifle unloaded in you. You wouldn't tell nobody to talk like that, you nasty mouth son of a bitch.
Are you stroking your cock?
No, I want to stroke yours. I want to take you down the creek, chop your goddamn head off of my machete, and throw you in the creek, you son of a bitch, and throw your ass head at your damn dying ass, you nasty mouth, ugly, ignorant thing.
Suck on your tits.
I'd empty this goddamn 22 in you. You'd be a pretty looking son of a bitch. Look like a pin cushion.
God.
Are you crazy son of a bitch? Nasty mouth bastard.
You disgusting nothing son of a bitch.
Are you joking, you guys?
Blue Iris calling an old lady.
I can listen to that.
Oh, you gotta play that
day.
again.
You like that?
Oh, it's great.
Mike, and I want it on CD.
You want instant replay?
Yes.
You want instant replay?
Oh, like John.
Oh, if I don't have a heart attack laughing, yeah. Yes, I want to hear it again.
All right.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm wearing a negligee.
Huh?
I love that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think some of that shit is like the funniest fucking stuff. And this is what makes me
All right, I got to talk to Mike Walker. Hey, Mike.
laugh the most.
Howard, how are you, my friend? Hey, have you heard what's going on with you?
No.
Oh, boy.
So you know how you keep your mic open, which I don't understand why, and Richard always listens and records anything he hears?
Yeah.
He caught you farting.
Really?
Yeah. We've been playing it like crazy. We love it.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
You brought up last week the question of privacy.
Yes.
So, in other words, it's all right if you invade my privacy.
Well, you put a microphone on.
Is that the deal?
Good for you. By the way, before he died, I was literally 10 minutes away from getting him as a fucking guest on the show.
You're going to act all gay and you're uptight about a fart.
No.
We all fart.
You were
We
the
all
one who
fart.
was
Not
talking
me.
about privacy. I'm just asking you the concept of privacy.
But it's not a hidden mic. If I go to Alcoholics Anonymous and the deal, you're talking about that. I think Alcoholics Anonymous should be anonymous because I give up.
How about farts anonymous?
Oh, fuck you.
Right?
You farted. I thought you shit your pants.
Dude, you did. Admit it.
Stop.
Let me play it for you.
Mike, you shit your pants.
Mike.
You see, this is like the orgasm thing, right?
No.
Allegedly, it's me.
All right, you tell me if it's you or not.
I know what Richard's doing. He's trying to impress you. He's trying to come up with these things. He got conga drums I never remember playing. Farts.
You really didn't play the conga?
Orgasms.
Was I lying about the conga?
I don't know.
So the answer
I
is
don't
no.
remember. I mean, I might have.
All right, so you
Have conga?
Yeah.
Of course. You know why the farting is so great on this? Because when you know them, like if you knew people were around, you could do a silent one.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's sitting there and he pushes it so hard. And I love you for this.
Well, I'll tell you what's great about it is we were thinking about a farting contest and we thought of categories: longest, loudest, wettest. This wins them all in one fart.
You know why this wins?
Is there a prize?
No, I'll tell you why it wins.
Why?
Because you're not even near the mic. I mean, you're like the mic's not anywhere near your ass, and it's unbelievable.
How do you know the mic's not anywhere near my ass?
Because I don't think you were doing it intentionally.
You know, Mike Walker's so fucking pissed.
Maybe he
about this
was.
at
That
this
would be
point.
brilliant, by the way,
All right.
Mike.
Here's Mike farting. Here's Mike farting into the mic.
Allegedly.
You tell me if it's real. If I'm lying, then you call me a liar.
I'm very proud of what's going on.
How do I know?
Oh, I think it's terrible, Mike. I'm with you.
Yeah. This is a clear.
Robin don't want to be in that magazine. He goes,
championing privacy.
Right. You're absolutely right.
It's a fart, for God's sakes. It's not you being an alcoholic.
Oh, I see. What if I pitched myself?
Embrace it.
Off my balcony.
What if you what?
What if they found me dead because I was so devastated by the invasion of privacy?
I seem to know you, and a fart is hardly the last thing that'll embarrass you.
Oh, I love that. I love everything about that fucking clip. So by popular demand, people want to hear the Gilbert calls a guy named Bindi.
It was that same episode that I was playing too. That's a
So
mark episode.
Classic. All right, let's listen.
Yeah, this is Artie's song. I got to play you a tape of something. This is great. So the boys isolated Gilbert Gottfried's Dice Gottfried, and they made a phony phone call to a guy named Bendy. I guess, there were people named Bendy. So
After Steve Irwin's daughter?
I don't know, but this is a great call. It's a lot of fun. Here you go.
Hello.
Hey, Bendy, you want a Bendy on it? Oh!
What the fuck is this? Hello?
Hey, Bendy, want to swim around my stingray? Oh!
Boy, that's some bullshit, right? Hello?
Well, hello there.
Who the fuck is this?
Paul Winchell.
Boy, this motherfucker tripping like a motherfucker. Hello?
Hi, it's Georgie. Mama. Hey, did you get that parrot I sent you?
My bullshitting on the motherfucking phone. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Who you want to speak to?
Bendy!
Who you want to speak to?
Yes.
Yes, motherfucker, yes. Who you want to speak to?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, take it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I fucked Desi on his.
Yeah.
Now you're just being silly.
Do I trust you?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure, I trust you. I fucked your mom last night.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness. You're an animal. I want to fuck your big droopy yellow tits.
I'm gonna fuck your tits.
No, I can't even get a hard on.
You can't get on hard.
No.
When you got a pussy, you don't get on hard. Are you gay?
Yes.
You are gay?
Okay, everybody apparently wants to hear Gilbert Gottfried listens to prank calls made using his voice.
Well, I should say that's when prank calls were game on and legal. They're illegal now. So anything you hear, I think it's past 2008, are fake. You have to call. So they'd have to call that person back and ask for permission. So all this Sal and Richard shit, you guys are fooled into thinking that they're illegal. You cannot call.
No. I think we discussed this like several thousand times that New York is a one-party state. So you're allowed to actually make phony phone calls to somebody without the other party knowing that you've called them.
You have to ask
we're,
for
we're
permission.
not a two-party state. No.
Yes, you do. It's in a document. I read it.
We're not a two-party state, though. So if it comes from New York, it doesn't have to be a two-party realization that you're making the phone call. There's other states where it is. Hold on, it's very noisy outside for some reason, and shockingly, there's no protest. Hang on, let me just shut this window. Sorry about that. You know what? So can somebody look that up for us?
I think it was Opie that explained to Stuttering John that rule got passed and they couldn't do anything prank call wise after, and they're emanating out of New York. So there's no other authority than him doing it. That they weren't allowed, and you have to call the person back and go, "Oh, I just pranked you. Can I have your permission to use this on the air?" And then you could use it. And it's just knowing this.
At that point, it's very similar to like a Borat kind of situation where, if people sign away the okay to use their, and then they're completely embarrassed by it, it's actually too late at that point, so you just got to kind of, I guess, run with
Bon
it.
Jovi, Monique, when we do the cleaning out the computer show, Bon Jovi writes here, Richard and Sal talked about it at the show years ago. They have to get consent. Yeah. I have a clip, and this is not something that I think it might have been at the end. Howard was talking to Richard, and Richard mistakenly slips in, Sirius shut us down. We're not allowed to make prank calls anymore, blah, blah, blah. And there was some caveat to it. But it was him admitting that they're fake. But he didn't say, so it's all crap. I mean, the more high production, who would fall for that shit? If you're I don't care how much of a rube you are. I don't care how naive you are. If someone calls you with sound effects in the background and you're going to stay on the phone for 4 minutes with crashing and Sal playing machine guns.
Yeah, but there's a lot of cuts on those things as well.
Oh, they're awful. They're so bad.
They try so hard to get like those Tradio calls. They're on the phone for like hours trying to get through, and then just kind of condensing it to like a 3-minute clip where, everything is kind of like heightened to be just all about them. So he said the Howard Stern show gets permission to play many phone calls. Richard and Sal mentioned a number of times that few calls they cannot play because the other person didn't allow them. But Richard and Sal's calls are not fake.
Yes, they are fake.
They've got to be fake.
They're horrible.
They're not good.
Who would fall for that? Who in this? How stupid are we? Do I have to spell this out? Honest to God, it's so ridiculous. We're even having this conversation.
Even the 15
for that?
HSS ones that they did, they're going in and they're taping and cutting up even the audio on the public access side to make it sound worse than it really was.
Right.
Very doctored.
Yep.
Well, and how could you possibly imagine that woman, who's that old woman that they always make ICE victim call into, and Kathy?
Oh God!
How can Kathy at this point not know that that's a fucking phony phone call? Like seriously.
He probably gets in touch with her in the beginning and says, just kind of go along with it, free associate a little bit, and then I'll play it and act all outraged. And it's not that difficult to get
I agree. Gunk in the beginning, they were real, but years later, they're fake as hell.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think the original ones, though, were for sure, real calls.
You want to hear that? Do you remember CIA hole from the old days? They would call like television talk shows and do. They were phenomenal. Howard did a. I think it was Horsetooth Beth reminded me. Howard did an actual prank call where he calls Frank Gifford on some telethon and acts like he's a journalist. It was phenomenal. And you wish he'd do more of that. But I mean, that's literally now 25 years ago. He's like, do you still love your wife? I'm not going to reveal that to you. Oh, I see. Well,
there's nothing that they do now that is actually relevant. And I had just thrown up a comment somebody made that said, prank phone calls are so 1985, and that's so true. Like they're not.
Yep.
They're not of any note whatsoever. But let's listen to we heard Bindi, but let's listen to the bathhouse. Let's hear that.
This is Letterman.
To surprise me, except that he doesn't know when the kids do. I think you know when the kids do. You have no idea.
What are you, homo? Ow!
Tommy?
Yes. Hickory dickory dock. Ow!
All right, say something worth listening to.
Ow!
You fucking dickwad. Please stop annoying me. Why don't you come on in here and then we'll talk. You fucking asshole. Come on, come down here. Don't call me on the phone, you pussy.
What are you, a homo?
Are you?
Yes.
Do you have the address? Come on down and fuck with me, you little fucker.
In your face.
In your face, fuckface. Come on down here, motherfucker. Come on, pussy. Hey, that's what you can do.
Okay.
Come on down here and say it to my face, you motherfucker.
Okay.
Do it. Get down here. Hurry. Fucking knock you next week, motherfucker.
Oh, I love this.
Come on. Bring it on, motherfucker. Bring it on.
Oh, I don't like what Joe
Dick face. Bring it on.
Yes.
Fucking
Oh, my
Don't have
muscles
balls to
feel
come
so
down here.
much
You're
better
just gonna call me
now.
on the phone and be a dick. Why don't you come down here and try it, dickhead?
Oh, that's right.
Asshole.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, well, Gilbert, you are a load of laughs. Well, Gilbert is here. He does many great characters. One of my favorite is Dice Gottfried.
Yeah. Yes. I do that.
Yes, you do Dice
don't
Gottfried.
even know. Wow.
In fact, here you are calling someone named Bindi. Have you heard this one?
Oh,
okay, so let me move past this.
Hello?
Well,
I bullshitting on the motherfucker?
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Hola, mackerel.
Oh, I see that George is in too, as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He was on once a month back then.
That is
I think.
terrific.
Tommy?
Yes. Hickory dickory dock. Ow!
All right, say something worth listening. You fucking asshole.
In your face.
In your...
Ow!
All right.
Okay.
You know what? I'm a little over him. Okay, I'm done with
How excited does Sal get when he gets either a black guy on the phone or a big fat red state hick? That is a gold mine. When they did, the prank calls did really exist and they were authentic. That was his dream, was to get a black guy on the phone. That's just so classic Sal, right?
You know, okay, so do we, or is there a clip for us of the final fatal blow to Gilbert never being on the show again, where he licked
I was
the
just
fucking...
going to bring that.
I don't know
we
if it really came up on the air. There was a last episode. You really think that was the reason? Gilbert has said he called Gary, and Gary told him that they don't have comedians on anymore. And then the next day they had Chelsea Handler on.
Yeah,
yeah, but she's a little bit more sycophantic, bigger than just a regular comedian, and part of Howard's whole crew of people that he likes to talk to. You know,
it's he loves the Jewish female comedian Amy Schumer. Sarah
Chelsea Handler's
Silverman.
not Jewish.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. Positive. I'm positive.
Is she?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just giving a type. I'm not even saying it as a, whatever. Let's say female comedian under 50. So it's like Whitney Cummings, Chelsea Handler, Amy Schumer, Sarah Silverman. That list of there's about, and then rotates them. And she's not in that.
Technically Jewish. Her father was Jewish, but her
Okay,
mother was
her
a Mormon.
mother is actually a Mormon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Monique, you answered your own. Monique, you answered your own in the beginning of this show. It was an excuse. The cupcakes are a nice excuse to not have him on, to play the germophobia card, even though that shows completely 1,000 things that are grosser and worse than that. Just having Benji in the studio is grosser than that. But maybe we could ask Sabi, but he's this sterilized Z Morning Zoo version of this show, he could not possibly subsist for 2 minutes. This is nothing, and he's not famous enough. So it really is about the celebrity food chain, and it's not about comedy. That's for damn. This is not a comedy show. This is a make Howard famous show. Appeal to Howard. So comedy is the last thing they're worried about.
Gilbert is Sirius now too. His podcast is distributed by Sirius. He's on one of their channels.
That's the crazy thing too. But he had a simpatico with some of the other. Isn't there a story? Does anybody remember? I don't have it quoted, Howard actually had to run into Gilbert in the halls at some point, and he put his head down and shoved them off. Didn't even make any eye contact. You think Gilbert doesn't make eye contact? Howard went into full sort of skulking, incredible skulk mode, and went away. And Gilbert looked not a nod, not a hi, nothing. And this was like, I think he told the story on Artie's Quitter podcast, but that was the last interaction they had. And that I believe was 3 years ago.
So I have questions for you guys. And let's get off of Gilbert for a few seconds so we can wrap our shit show up. But two things. So what did you think about the Artie interview with Nick DiPaolo last week with juiced up, gun-loving, fucking far radical conservative Nick DiPaolo last week?
Go ahead, go.
I was done in like 3 seconds with that. Then I listened to your show, Monique, while I was in BJ shopping, and I kept it on just because I felt a loyalty to you. But it was infuriating. I'm like, Nick, stop fucking talking.
Exactly. Shut the fuck up, Nick. Shut the fuck up. Like, nobody cares about the fact that you moved to, where did he move to?
Atlanta, Georgia.
No. Where?
Oh, Savannah.
Savannah, right. He's in Savannah. And of course,
Georgia.
immediately, as soon as he got down there, he bought himself a gun. Then he bought himself an AK-47. Then, and so the Artie portion of the conversation, I swear to God, lasted about 2 minutes before Nick decided that it was going to be all about him and started talking about himself. That was it. And I get that it was an Artie deflection, kind of, because Artie started asking questions to Nick about what he's doing, what's going on with him. But Nick never fucking swung it back around. Never.
No.
He doesn't know a lot about Artie. I don't think he.
You gotta remember,
Artie. But let me just say that they have a cantankerous, weird history. When Artie came back, and like I said, I think Artie loves to go away and come back. I hold to that like a motherfucker. He loves to go. If you're there, people get tired of you. He likes to go away, create a stir, listen to people saying him on the internet, and come back because it's like a new thing, kind of. So I think he loves it. So Nick resuscitated Artie, and he put him on the Nick and Artie radio show. It was really funny, the original one, and Nick struck a deal with one of I think it was iHeartRadio and then DirecTV after that. So Nick got so annoyingly, neocon political on this fun, goofy sports show that the powers that be couldn't take it. And I think Nick's a great comedian. He's a great roaster. When he sticks to comedy, he's one of the best there is. I understand people find him annoying, but when he is a comedian, he is one of the best there is. As a roaster, as a straight up stand-up, phenomenal.
I know, he's such a dick.
Phenomenal. I know. He is. So DePaulo gets fired from his own show that he's conceived. They move to DirecTV. Artie kind of jumps in his grave, for lack of a better word. And he just continues with it. It was kind of rudderless, and they didn't know, and they're just playing on. They were like crutching on a Mike Boschetti shtick, and they were kind of so. I think Nick felt really portrayed that Artie just didn't quit alongside of him, and they hadn't spoken in years. And somehow,
why is it that Nick is the one who gets the first interview with Artie in 6 fucking months? Is it because they're doing this stupid bullshit on some new comedy channel? But that doesn't make sense.
Tiger Lily writes, Nick saved him several times and already stabbed him in the back by saying that. I think Artie feels maybe owes him the first stab at him, no pun intended. And
I feel like I know less about Artie after hearing the interview than I did before.
Yeah. You're not going to get
a stroke when I first started listening to it. Something sounded really wrong with him.
Nick has got such political OCD. He doesn't even he has no dog in that hunt. He's not paid attention to Artie's saga. He's probably tired of it, and justifiably, aren't we all? The back and forth and the on and off.
I think that Nick DiPaolo is also in the grouping of fucking juicing, roid-raged, red-faced, muscle-bound, goony fucking narcissist that he didn't actually really give a shit about what the fuck Artie was doing. Although I do agree with some of the people that are listening to us right now who say, yeah, maybe Artie said to him, you know what, I'll call in, I'll say hi, I'll just kind of, talk about that new stupid shit show comedian website that they're doing, but that's all I'm going to go into. But Artie does the classic, swing it around and ask Nick, who he knows is clearly somebody who wants to fucking talk about himself all the time, and ask him questions about what's going on with his life, because he knows that that's where Nick will go, because he knows him. He knows the animal.
It's a great way to deflect.
For him to deflect, because, oh my God, if he was on the fucking show with us, I'd be like, no. So really, Artie, like, where are you? Like, where actually are you?
Yeah,
like,
what's the point of
doing
Artie?
with yourself? What have you been doing for the last 6 months? What are you doing for fucking money? Are you in Jersey? Are you in Florida? Where the fuck are you? Like, seriously, I think that we would have asked much more hard, pressured questions than Nick would ask, and maybe that's why he went on Nick, because that's where he's going to get.
How about when you first started your podcast, Artie? You sounded really, really clear. Now, did you have a stroke? You sound terrible. What happened? What's your health?
I'm not a drug counselor, so I'm not going to try to figure out the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of heroin. And I'd be ridiculous if I thought that I understood how it worked and what it does to the brain chemistry. And so when I hear his moods, I bet you he is tired of people analyzing his moods all the time. If he sounds too up, that sucks. If it's and I'm not even defending him, but I'm tired of, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm tired of analyzing his, and I'm tired, and I believe that showbiz adage of you want to get off the stage before people kick you off the stage. And I believe he likes to do that. He's get off the stage, come back again, get off the stage, come back again. And it keeps it fresh and it keeps people talking about him, because if he's there too long, then we really get I mean, you're tired of him when he does this. Could you imagine if he just stuck around all the time? How sick of this shtick and this saga and this tedium you would be. Like I said before, drugs and alcohol has been very, very good to him. It's a persona. It gives him some kind of a cool factor that you could lump in with these heroes of his, like Hunter S. Thompson and Belushi and Keith Richards and all these people. But it gives it. He titles his albums after it. Half his material in his stand-up set, when he goes into anecdotes, is based on drugs and alcohol. Why deny it? Just embrace it. We're all going to die someday. I say do heroin, do coke, drink all you want, because it's been very good to you. Fuck it all. I hate him sober, as a matter of fact.
You can say that, but the reality is, if a funny Artie is probably going to trump a dead Artie, just in terms of, Artie has withstood a lot of heroin, a lot of coke, a lot of fucking drugs, and a lot of people have very differing opinions on whether or not he sounded like he was really clear of mind, or whether he sounded high, or whether he sounded fucked up, or just sounded fat. I mean, well, I don't know what the story is, but the fact that he's able to keep himself out of the limelight for almost 6 months, going on 7 months now, might just be a testament to the fact that he is trying to get himself clean and not be around all the people that enable him to do a lot of fucked up things. I don't know.
He had his description of the AA meetings nailed down pat, because that's what AA meetings are right now. All Zoom, where you're sitting in a chair outside. When I heard that, I'm like, yep. Maybe he's sober or not, but he's definitely gone to some AA meetings.
But the AA meetings have been very good to him too. So it's more material you're garnering from the drug culture, because you wouldn't be in AA if it wasn't for drugs. He loves that cachet, and it's a great sympathy thing, and it's a great way to be a martyr, and you have that going for you. I'm after a while you're kind of going, all right, it's either get off the pot or don't. And I say embrace it. I don't know. By the way, could it be that the and he's been known to lie, right? He's told a lie or two in his life and embellish. Is it he's lying about doing, like, couldn't you just, like, you lie about your stats as an athlete? Couldn't he be lying about the amount of heroin he does, lying about the cocaine? He likes that as a cool factor. I truly believe that. So do we even know he does that much? We're taking his word for it. If he's a serial liar, how do we know how much drugs he's really doing?
We don't.
You don't. You don't know what to believe. So this is why we have this conversation. We go in circles, and he comes back, and he gets.
By the way, we learned nothing from that fucking interview, so that's why we don't.
I can't pay attention to anything because the whole chat is talking about life coach John saying, "Do heroin. It's good for you. The more you know."
See what I just wrote? Arm also wants us to drink alcohol, Mountain Dew. So we can't really. Our Arm is actually certified alcoholic life coach, and so he will show you how to drink and be able to function the next day without any repercussions from that alcoholic content. But you know what? It's one thing for John to drink like whatever with Mountain Dew. It's a whole nother thing to fucking shoot heroin into like the back of your kneecap. So
I don't know. I'm more concerned about drinking Mountain Dew.
I know. I think that's probably worse for us.
I respect heroin more.
Is it Diet Mountain Dew, John?
Diet Mountain. The best drink is Diet Mountain Dew with red wine or vodka. Try it.
I know you keep telling me to try it.
It is sangria. It is sangria.
I don't have the guts. I don't have the guts to buy fucking Mountain Dew, even to try it. Lauren,
it's my anti,
and they say that
the color of Mountain Dew isn't natural. Just the color, that green infected piss color. Why would
that look like infected urine? That's exactly what fucking Mountain Dew looks like.
It's like kryptonite.
Is it diet Mountain Dew or is it actual real Mountain Dew?
It's like kryptonite and Nickelodeon slime fucked. It's
Mountain Dew removes paint.
And you put wine in that?
So here's the I don't want to get drunk, but I want a nice buzz, and I don't want a hangover drink. So you get a huge 32 ounce or more cup. You fill it to ice. You half red wine, and over that diet Mountain Dew, and then you mix it about 6 times with another mixer, and it is phenomenal. It is sangria. It is that perpetual buzz you chase after. You're not going to have a hangover. You're not really going to get drunk, but it gives just enough of a buzz.
There's no fucking way that tastes like sangria.
Try it.
And I know we had this discussion like 4 years ago.
How about this mix? That I will mix an MP3 CD into that drink, and I'll mix it. You can drink it that way too as well.
John, I want you to fucking come into New York tomorrow, and I want you to bring me a fucking ice thing full of like Mountain Dew and wine so that I can taste it, and we'll do a taste test online. So that I can.
I have not seen anybody hate it yet. I've given it to 20 people on Guineas on Christmas Eve. Wine snobs, they all like it.
Oh my God, I don't drink, and you just gave me 20 extra years of sobriety.
I have fucking diabetes from the amount of sugar that you just poured into my fucking veins by drinking. And what kind of wine would you mix with Mountain Dew? It's vomitous, just as I'm talking to you.
Oh, 1997 Burgundy would go great with that.
Exactly. A nice Gurgage Hill Chardonnay from like 2001 that costs like...
Something from the Rhine Valley.
Exactly. John, what do you mix that with? What?
The Jack Max? Oh no! Wait! I cut it.
What is that?
Okay, so the Jack Max is Pepsi Max, which is kind of like an energy soda. It's a diet soda, so it's one of the best tasting diet sodas there is. Over ice, it's got a full cup of fucking Bobby Drake ice and Jack
Daniels. Like a drink that's found at a wife swapping event at a
I'm a beer drinker too, but this is just so Jack Daniels over that. So Artie would love this because again, no heroin. His constitution's crazy. Alcohol was never his problem. People think like, oh no, the alcohol drinking's fine. I like it's some kind of gateway drug. No, drinking was never the problem with him.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we go back for a second? What's Jack Max?
So it's big cup of ice, over ice, Jack Daniels. The mix, it has to be the base, has to be Jack, and then Pepsi Max over the Jack Daniels, and then
Pepsi Max.
Yep.
I can't even imagine anywhere other than like Sam's Club sells something called fucking Pepsi Max.
It's tough. It's tough.
Drink it in one of those Pittsburgh.
You are right. It is tough to find.
Got at McDonald's in 1979.
Yes. That's exactly what I use.
I could probably buy a big gulp of Pepsi Max at the 7.
I have a Captain America Age of Ultron 40-ounce cup right now. But it's
what you do is you get your the paint is all scuffed off your Return to the Jedi Ewok cup that you got at McDonald's in '83. You pour some Tab in there, and then what you put on top of that is a little bit of Mr. Boston.
I guarantee you that Pepsi Max can clean my fucking dirty white sneakers.
It's oh my God. You're right though. Like it's very tough to find. So for every 20 bottles of regular Pepsi, there's probably 1 bottle of Pepsi Max. And it's like this little narrow aisle. Even worse, there's a cherry version of it now, and I like that even better. So I know some people know what is Pepsi Max in Canada. It's an energy drink. It's a soda energy drink. It's got
it's kind of like a Red Bull Pepsi version.
Yes.
Thing.
Yes.
And it's Pepsi, okay? So can we just discuss
sold primarily in the European and Asian markets?
What's more annoying, HBO Max and its promotions or Pepsi Max? I don't even know.
Pepsi Max sounds like something that you get if you cross the border to Canada, and it's like only available at certain fucking stores.
It's been around since 1993.
Oh, you looked it up?
Oh yeah, I'm looking it up.
Has it been around that long? Oh, wow.
It's very big in the Asian market, it says.
Hey, speaking of territories, I want to ask you, if in your area, have you lived in Boston, New England area your whole life?
Yes.
Okay. So I've only been to Boston twice. And the first time I went there, I was so euphoric. The Howard Stern show in the 90s was played at night, wasn't it?
Yes. On BCN.
Oh, Monique, this is so glorious. You would have loved it. The energy, like you're like wide awake. 7 to 11, is that the time?
Yeah, they tape delay. They started it at 7 p.m.
Wow.
So I went over my friend's brother we stayed with in Boston, and he was a huge Stern fan, and he had it on, and I'm like, it's like 8:30 at night. I'm like, what the hell? Are you listening to a tape? He goes, no, the Stern show's on here at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm just like wide awake. And I had missed the show before. And I was like, and I honestly liked it better than the morning because you're sort of home and you're lucid and you could hear the whole thing. And I was so mad that, well, Howard had this deal where he wouldn't because he wanted to double his salary, so they would never replay it. You could easily have replayed that show in any market in the other time slot. So in New York, who wouldn't have loved the Stern show to be replayed again in the afternoon?
1,000%. I couldn't listen to it at work, so it would have been amazing to be able to
listen to it instead.
It was Howard and Buchwald blocking that for Not Enough Marbles. So they would think of, if you have two chances to listen to it, my ratings won't be as high in the morning, and they wouldn't stream it. Buchwald and Howard are so anti-fan. People have no idea. They blocked it from getting streamed, Monique, when the streaming started to get big, like in 2003 and shit. So you couldn't, like you'd miss it, and people would figure out ways to sort of play it. But you'd think every other radio show on the planet, every music show, every sports show was being streamed, but not Howard. So, I have resentment just off that. In addition, but I was
so Matt, new guy on our podcast, which I love having you on, by the way. Not going to lie, but what do you think is going to happen at the end of this year for Howard?
I got to imagine he's staying, because if he was going, something would have happened by now. He's just going to float away, and
I know it's November 10th. You would think that something would happen by now.
I think he's going to stay at a lesser rate. Maybe he works a little bit later. Maybe does an afternoon show, works 2 days a week or something. But he's got to be doing something there. He wouldn't just float away.
No, I don't think he would float away either. I think that he is going to stay at Sirius. I think they're going to make him a deal. I definitely don't think it's the $110, $120 million that they're talking about at all. That's just like a stalking horse to make a better deal. But I don't think he would leave, because I don't think that he would want to go anywhere where Joe Rogan is the main event and not him. And he knows that if he stays at a Sirius, he's still like, BMOC. So I don't know that he would necessarily leave that to go somewhere where he's not the top guy. I don't think he can.
It's so horrible working from home. That whole remote broadcast. I mean, what we're doing here, as much of a shit show as this is, sounds 1,000 times better than what they're doing working from home. It sounds awful.
I love our show. I love doing this show. I find it to be like funny and amusing and something that we enjoy doing. But I don't think Howard enjoys doing what he's doing anymore. And so if I was doing this for 40 years, I wouldn't fucking enjoy it either. But you know what? Also, conversely, if I was making $90 million a year, you'd be fucking shit sure that I would make myself enjoy this for the limited time that I needed to be here to make myself present.
But how much of a spoiled brat, fucking malcontented piece of shit do you have to be, where you have a show that's for you and every guest is for you and all the content is for you, where you're not even forced to talk about current events? Fuck the fans. I'm not going to program these channels whatsoever to appeal to who's paying for this. And then you're going to complain on top of that. Retire from what? Is there any easier?
There's no easier job that he needs to do. He rolls out of fucking bed and goes downstairs.
There's no way he's going to transition. He can't transition. The only thing I could possibly see is if he did a one-on-one interview show on a Netflix and
Not gonna
takes
happen.
like 5.
Not gonna happen because there's nobody that he wants to interview and or conversely wants to be interviewed by him that he has not interviewed already. And
Well,
to
then
be quite honest with you,
I think you're right. I think you're right, but I think Netflix would also say to him, you're not going to pick these, we're going to help you we want to have some say in who these guests are. I don't want to see that retread shit you put on.
Say. What the fuck are you talking about? We have no say. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care what we think about. And the reality is, I gotta tell you, I mean, I can't listen to. And thank God Dennis does what he does in the morning, because honestly, between talking about fucking COVID and how he is like squirreled away
COVID-19.
COVID-19, right? He always calls it COVID-19. He's squirreled away in his basement, doesn't see anybody, and his take on politics has to absolutely be so divisive to his listening audience, where he's not reading the fucking room anymore. Like he doesn't really give a shit.
So right, you're so right.
He's not caring about what people think about. And you know what? We are. I promise I'm not going to get into politics, but
he cares about what the people on the Hamptons he thinks about.
Well,
that controls his politics, so lest anybody believe he has any of the characteristics that a true liberal has. A liberal who's supposed to care about the least among us and taking care of our brothers and whatever, the little people. That is the last guy that cares about the little people. Or
he's an Eisenhower conservative.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
He doesn't know what he is. He just goes, he's only as good as his last conversation. And, he goes with the wind. And he doesn't like Donald Trump because Donald never came on his show. Period. Fucking full stop. Like the fact that he never came on after he announced his presidency back in 2016 until today, no matter how many times Howard tried to put a fucking shiny toy in Donald Trump the cat's fucking face, he never bit. Whether he wrote a book about it, whether he talked about him, whether it was, something divisive that he said about him, he never took the fucking bait. And so Howard is actually probably genuinely disappointed that the man whose wedding he went to and vice versa, that Trump went to his wedding, that Beth is a member at fucking Mar-a-Lago, and that is a person that he would think that he would have a fucking line into. He doesn't. And so I think that makes him more upset than the fact that he might have a difference of opinion in terms of a Trump presidency. Honestly.
Well, he claims that he turned Trump down to speak at the Republican convention.
Bullshit. I think that was just
I would love to hear. I would love to hear Trump's side of that. I would love to, or Donald Trump Jr., whoever. I would love to hear what really went down with that if he was truly asked. And Monique, it wouldn't surprise me when fucking Scott Baio is speaking. The biggest gig Baio's had is having a threesome with you and your friend before that. Antonio Sabato Jr., Ted Nugent, Kid Rock. So Howard, I could see them possibly asking. Who knows how that went down, but I would love to see, even if
it doesn't go down because most of Hollywood eschews the Trump presidency. So therefore Howard can't do something that is the antithesis of what his friends in the Hamptons would think.
Exactly.
Of him, period.
Totally.
And,
but
as much as he would have probably loved to have done it, he couldn't. George Stephanopoulos would probably say to him, "You're fucking crazy. There's no fucking way any of us would ever talk to you again if you did that."
Yeah, he totally would have been persona non grata.
Look at what
Jimmy Kimmel.
Look at what he did. Look at how he treated Sabian. Look at how he treated his cousin Stacy. Look at how he treated Scott the engineer and his wife. That's a liberal? Does anybody buy this bullshit? He is a horrid human being. Behind the scenes, he's even worse. The guy off
There's a big difference between being a liberal and just being a motherfucking cheap ass bastard who doesn't really give a rat's ass about what your employees do. And that's who he is. In his mind, even if he's making, and I don't believe he's making $90 million. We've discussed ad nauseum, I believe that most of the monies that is needed to run that show are taken out of that $90 million kitty. So whatever he makes, let's say he makes $50 million, let's say he makes $40 million, let's say he makes probably more than the entirety of our fucking forum combined on a yearly goddamn basis. I still think that he thinks that it's not enough. He has to run all these different homesteads, these, cleaning people and fucking gardeners and electric and fucking taxes and all this other shit. And so in his mind, he doesn't make enough money. He should be making more. He's jealous of people like fucking Bloomberg and Trump and all the rest of these people. He's actually jealous of them because he doesn't make as much as they do. And so it stops him from being a little bit more partisan than he actually is. And it's hurting his fucking show. I mean, you see it in the comments. You see the fact that when he has somebody on, they basically block the comments because they don't want to hear what anybody fucking has to say anymore. They just don't care. So they just are at a fucking I don't care portion of the show where it is absolutely the worst it has ever been. That day that he had on Eddie Vedder had to be the worst show I've heard ever.
Well, you got to
literally scroll through 2 hours of fucking Eddie Vedder that I don't give a rat's ass about to get the beginning of the show and to the end of the show, and that was it.
I wouldn't want to hear a 2-hour interview with Eddie Vedder in 1992.
No, ever.
I'm a huge Eddie Vedder fan. I love Pearl Jam. I love Eddie Vedder, but I don't want to hear him. I mean, this is a poser's poser who has no baseline for this band, completely condescending, knows nothing about them. He called it Jeremy Spoke, for Christ's sake. And this guy's interview. There's nothing. And so there's like a serious, I guess they were doing a show at the Apollo. So there's a serious wig pro quo there. And he's been working on this for how many years? And he's just getting them on now in November of 2020, and just lobbing up more softballs and Rosie O'Donnell, and just impossible to. And I should want to listen to it, but like you, I couldn't get through it.
I can't get through it. Dorian Morgan here says Rogan gets away with 2-hour interviews. Yeah, but that's what Rogan's show is. So the difference between a Howard and a Rogan is that Rogan reads the book, sees the movie, watches the show. I
heard Rogan last week. He had
Alex Jones
on, who I like, and he had Alex Jones, who I don't. And he was fact checking every single thing that Alex Jones said, and he had an answer to this rapid fire bullshit Alex Jones was putting out. And with the length of his podcasts and how many podcasts he does, I don't know how Rogan finds the time to do all this research and be knowledgeable the way he is. He must be working nonstop.
I think that what happens, and I would pay good money for this if I was a very prolific podcaster / radio person. I would have 3 people read the fucking book for me. And I would say, okay, these are the highlights. This is what you need to know about. This is what's the most important in the book. This is what it's about. And I feel like he's at a point in his life and his career that he can do that. But he makes it feel like he has done the research. He is involved. He is all in with understanding who you are, why you do what you do, and tries to make it an understanding of what's going on. Now, I don't think that his deal with Spotify is the greatest. I think a lot of people are like very anti him right now. A lot of people hated the fucking fact that he had Alex Jones on. And I think that it's actually going to be really hard for him to get in-house guests in Austin or where the fuck he's living.
Yeah, he's in Austin now.
But I think that, he's very much in a Howard mode now. He's going to do what he's got to do because he's making a lot of fucking money. So and he has a staff of maybe like 7 people versus Howard's 70.
Is it that much? Is it even 7? I'm not even sure.
I think it's about 7. I think he has somebody who books, who has, he has probably like some various and sundry assistants and whatever. But of course he has to. I mean, you're doing a huge fucking show. Of course you have to have at least that many people. Sometimes I listen to a podcast about some absolute utter bullshit, and it's like edited by blah, 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 and music by blah, 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 and, story by blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
And I start to count it up, and I'm like, fuck, this shit podcast has like 12 more people than I have, which is 1. And so it's like, I don't even understand how they can produce such a shit podcast with 12 people versus us doing something for the last 4.5 fucking years with basically like two of us, trying to fucking put clips together and make a show out of it. I mean, granted, we don't do it 3 times a week, whatever, 4 times a week, but still, I mean, it's just a lot of work to pull it together. And now that podcasts and these things that are now considered radio type podcast shows are consolidating more and more and more and more, it leaves a lot less room for like the little guy to have a space in the marketplace.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, tell me.
I agree with that. You can consolidate down, but there's not a limited number of spots in podcasting. It's still infinite. So if you have a niche that nobody else can do any better, you can be very successful in that. So nobody else is going to do, I hate Howard Stern and he was great before, but now he sucks, better than what this show does. You don't need to have a Westwood One or a Wondery. You're going to have an audience. There's still that. If you want to be a Joe Rogan and you want to have celebrity guests, that's a different story. But if you can find your niche, you don't need big backing. You can still be an independent.
I guess, but you know what? Nobody pays me for this fucking show.
You know what she's saying though. I understand what both of you are saying, Matt. She's saying there's a certain level of fame that has to come with you doing the show. So we could do the perfect show. We could have the best content and it could hit. We could just completely, nail it every time. But if neither one of us are, quote, famous, we're not going to really get the numbers. You have to have some crazy notoriety going into this, or it's just going to level off at a weird, it's going to have a cap to it, the amount of views and listens. And Howard's audience, let's face it. Monique, what'd you say? Tim Sabian told us 600,000 people is the peak.
600,000.
So what are we going to get? What's the most we're going to get? And no matter how interested, and I love doing this show, and I could talk about it all day, but he's losing listeners and fans there are fucking serious surveys they have when people cancel their subscription. The first question, what does it say? Howard Stern sucks. It's not on enough. They know it.
Everybody knows it.
So
everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. And the reality is that, we do a show that, yes, is a niche business, but you know what? It's going to come to a fucking screeching halt at some point, and we're going to be like, okay, well, so we have the demographic and I learned this word in college, psychographic of a person who actually listens to us. So what is it that they would want to hear other than what we do about Howard? And the reality is that the show is so fucking horrible right now that we do revert back to things that were funny and things that we loved and things that, we think people would appreciate listening to from years gone by. Because nothing that he does now is content that anybody wants to fucking listen to. I struggle to even get through it, and that's on off fucking days. Like a lot of times I will front load it, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows, and then I'll just bang them out like Thursday, Friday, Saturday when I'm fucking blowing leaves or like fucking digging plants and shit, because it's just nothing of any note that anybody fucking cares about. And if Sirius rehires him, they are the stupidest motherfuckers known to mankind, because nobody needs fucking Sirius anymore. Nobody.
When's the last time anybody's heard Howard brought up in regular conversation randomly, that a friend of yours brought it up, or that you've heard people speak? That used to be a huge thing. In the 90s and a lot of the 2000s, I would hear people randomly talking about it. And I couldn't wait to jump in, and it was there and now I'm embarrassed. Monique, how many people do you bring this podcast up to that we do it? You can't even, you're like, what? You do a show about how horrible the Stern show, you can't broach it. I know, it's like, and then you're disappearing for 4 hours and you have to explain why. This is such a niche thing, and it's only getting worse. He's only getting less listeners and fans, but hopefully we benefit from that. That the more apathetic, he's apathetic. He's not informed. He's got this now in his interview stuff. You listen to the Vetter thing, it's this affected, sort of restrained, low talking, and he's like French kissing the microphone, and the Darth Kermit modulations turned up, and he's speaking really slow, and he's stretching out every syllable, and the humor's gone. Benji is the worst fucking joke writer in the history of the planet, and you go back and listen. When I listened to that Dennis Miller interview, it was just rapid fire, rat-a-tat-tat, hard-hitting follow-ups, talking about his ex-wife, talking about Kevin Nealon's toupee, Jackie's writing for him, bam, bam, bam. I'm laughing, I'm interested, there's none of that anymore. The energy, the passion is completely sucked away, and it pretty much died with Artie in 2009 of November. And you know that better than anybody does, Matt, because that's when you stopped listening.
Oh yeah, I think he got a lease on life with Artie when Jackie left, and then when Artie left, there really is no one to replace him. You're not going to get lightning in a bottle twice.
No, but you can be. But it's not difficult to be interesting. As far as when you have the real estate that he has, and you can talk about the show is whatever the hell he wants it to be. So when you blame Marcy Turk and you blame how shitty Benji is, and you blame it's whatever the hell he wants it to be. He chooses not to talk about his 1 percentile life. The only way to save that show is really that. If he just embraced being 1%er Howard, Hampton's life, and I went to this party.
Exactly.
Embrace it. That's who you are. You're not fooling anybody. How stupid do you think we are? We don't know you make fucking.
He does think we're stupid. He does think we're stupid.
It's
not us personally, but he thinks the general populace that listens to him is stupid. And what?
Betherexa goes, it's the Mountain Dew talking. Oh my God!
I'm just on the dew.
Look, I'll be the first to admit I'm bipolar.
Well, you know, I love the way we got out of Gilbert and went on for another hour about
I can't even remember that we did a show on that.
Well, Gilbert is symptomatic of what's wrong with the show because he can't get on it, and that's what we love. I know you know.
Yeah, look at Perez Hilton. You know, he just wrote a book that was actually pretty popular, and you know, he's all over Twitter and whatever. And you've seen, you know, that he's like, God, I tried to call Gary and ask him if I could come on the show, and he's like, Yeah, we're not taking any more guests for 2000.
Well, didn't that piss you off, Monique? You. Horsetooth Beth Sarah from Atlantis and I were going at it with him on Twitter, going, this is what the show. Gary is doing Howard's dirty work. How stupid are you? You've been on that show for how long? You don't know how this protocol works? This is what they're dealing with. And I don't know why they don't have more dissenters. And we're going, no, Gary blew you off. That's from Howard. That's a directive from Howard.
Exactly. That is exactly directly from Howard.
How could you be tapped into show business and have a gossip, like a multi-million-dollar thing that he has, and not know that's the protocol there?
Even if he doesn't have a direct message from Howard, Gary knows what Howard would or would not want now. And he doesn't have to be told not to put Perez.
He doesn't have to be told. That's exactly right. He's like, you know what? Okay, so we only have 12 shows till the end of the year. Right. Here are the 3 guests that we are going to have on until the end of the year. That's it. Done. And Howard doesn't give a fucking. Do you hear the motorcycles outside?
Yeah.
Welcome to New York. I am on the 42nd fucking floor, and you would think that they are right outside my door. That's how loud it is up here. How insane is that? Gonna have to send John a DM later and discuss if he's okay. Seems like a vicious addiction to Mountain Dew. Oh my God, I love this. All right, so I guess that's it.
Can I give two shout outs because it's a double entendre and it's weird because they're the most politically opposed people, I think. It's some of the threads I've read. I just sit back sometimes and I just like, so one of my 2 favorite people, Boff and Clumpy Stern on.
Oh my God, they are such polar opposites. Amazing.
It's just so much.
Clumpy Stern on.
Yes, ma'am. That's where I'm going.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we had him on. Clumpy Stern's a really, really good poster, but he has been on the Superfan Roundtable at least twice. So the one that I found that we did that old show with him, whatever, I found another one, and this is even more. Clumpy Stern was on the very first Superfan Roundtable after Artie tried to kill himself and Howard wouldn't acknowledge it. So they had come back from a vacation. And everyone's like, where's Artie? Where's Artie? What's going on? How come he's not back? And so they did a Superfan Roundtable, and the phones were going crazy with where's Artie, and they wouldn't acknowledge it. The 800-pound gorilla in the room. And Clumpy Stern is on this show, lighting it up. He's phenomenal. He's the voice of dissent. He's ball busting. And Boff found this show for me, ironically. And
oh my God, are you
very
kidding?
first show after Artie tried to kill himself. And the Superfan Roundtable is in flux. They don't know how to handle it.
Let's do a podcast on that. What's wrong with you?
Well, I didn't know if you. All right. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
We'll just handle that podcast now.
Well, no. Now we're at 2
3
hours and
hours.
47 minutes. I think we're done. That would take us for another 2 hours, and I can't be doing that. It's already
I will start it. You know what I'll do? I'll post the whole show, and I'll
No, don't post the whole show. Wait for us,
Boff
and then we'll do a show on it. Don't post it. Just let's do
Okay.
it. Let's just do it on fucking Thursday or something.
Okay.
Can we do that?
But Clumpy Stern is such an ass kicker on that show, and
Clumpy Stern.
I know. We gotta have him on again. You know.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. You know what? I would love to have Bob on because he's such a dissenting viewpoint to us that it would just actually make me help me to understand people like him. I don't know.
He's such a mensch, though. Man, he got me, and I think Grillo because I got Grillo. Tell Grillo that I have all the intern shows now thanks to him.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah. And there's a lot of crazy moments on that. I know it sounds like a boorish thing, but the intern show is a lot of. They had these interns on that didn't really care to work on the show. They were just doing it to get, and they could care less. So they were kind of honest on it, and they would reveal some shit because they didn't care if they were hired. So it was kind of an underrated little fourth wall every once in a while. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that there were these little things that got revealed on that because these millennials didn't give a shit. They didn't have any. They didn't even know who Howard was, which is even better.
I love it. And I think we should do a show on that. Yeah, D Canada, another 2-hour show. Awesome, guys. What a sublime waste of time. Thank you so much. Number one, it's 3 hours. Number two, are you not fucking entertained? Did we not entertain you? That you were the very first person to log in before we 45 minutes before we even on air, and you're bitching about us not having the not doing this. I don't even understand. Yeah, totally. Live chat is half the
How many threads are Jack Max in the phone? Maybe 4.
I don't even know what.
I defy someone to try it. Please try it. Get back to me. It's not a big deal. Pepsi Max.
God, if you want to keep your teeth, try it.
There's no sugar. There's no. That's the. Out. Sometimes.
That tastes good. I'm sorry. There's just no fucking way. I don't believe you.
I'm telling you.
You want to get Horsetooth Beth on here to tell us that yes, I've tried it and it's absolutely fucking amazing.
It's a great COVID drink when you've lost your sense of taste.
Cindy Lou says, "Let me tell you, Jack Max would be a huge seller."
Matt, are you really a teetotaler?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
How long?
I'm sorry to hear
that. 6 years.
Okay.
I had a little bit of a drinking problem. It was time to stop.
What was your bottom? Did you fall asleep during a sleepy Mickey Blue Eyes premiere like Richard Lewis?
No. You know that arm is.
Are you a champagne drunk?
No, I had a pretty high bottom, but at the end I was drinking scotch. It just was time of looking at this. I'm like, you know what? I got to stop.
How much scotch were you drinking? I'm just curious.
I wasn't drinking every day, but when I was drinking, it was very difficult to stop. So I could stop at 2 beers, but it's all I could think of the rest of the night and then the next day. And
that's what they say. When you actually look forward to the alcohol that you will be drinking. I mean, Lauren and I were just having this conversation about the fact that you actually look forward to the drinks that you will be having later on in the night. And that's a clear sign of alcoholism. And the truth is that I will 1000% always open up a bottle of wine when I'm about to start making dinner or cooking for myself or cooking for people, because that's how I cope with being in the kitchen and not being social and just drinking. And honestly, I don't drink a lot of hard liquor at all, but
at the end I was. Scotch was my thing at the end.
I mean, I literally had fucking funny bones and some wine tonight for dinner, and
Monique,
that was it.
Sometimes I feel like you are valedictorian of my drinking school because you really do make drinking look good. You really do. You drink pretty. You have a dryuary. You don't seem to have any problems with it. It seems to be like it's synonymous with cooking. You don't have any issues whatsoever. You really do make it look like you are valedictorian of the armed drinking school.
No,
I mean,
sounds
have it down.
sounds like normal drinking. If I were to pop open a bottle of wine because I was cooking, that bottle of wine was never big enough. Especially with a bottle of wine, I had very little self-control. I had to finish that bottle.
Yep.
Oh, see, so we were just having the discussion about how I can actually temper myself now and just have like a half a bottle of wine, and there'll be days where I can actually go 2-3 days with that same bottle of wine because I've been trying really hard to not drink as much. I mean, the reality is I love wine. I don't like brown liquors or anything like that. I'll drink some vodka every once in a while as well because I don't have any wine. But other than that, I don't really imbibe at all. And yes, when we used to do the show back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, Grace and I would get absolutely fucking shit-faced. You know, she would bring over 2 bottles of wine. I'd have another bottle of wine. Next thing you know, we're like 2 bottles in and just blathering incoherently. And you know what? That
Yeah.
doesn't make for a really good fucking show. I mean, yeah, at the time it did because we left our asses off and thought it was like stupid and funny. But the reality is, you know, I'm interviewing Ian Halperin. Like I have to focus on, you know, questions and things that are germane to actually having a
Yeah.
real conversation with somebody. And at some point you have to fucking grow up a little bit and say, okay, I'm not going to be like totally shit-faced for a show, and I'm going to be able to like discuss something and articulate a point without losing my fucking place all the time because I'm a little too drunk. So, you know, I've never had an addictive personality, so I don't feel like I do that at all. But I know some people do, and it's really hard. It's really hard to temper
Everything for me is addictive. I garden. My gardening is addictive. Eating sugar is addictive.
Yeah, I get it.
You think of something,
But
an interest I have is addictive.
It's that Malcolm Gladwell, whatever. What is it? 10,000 hours. You know, life's boring unless you're
Sean, you
passionate about
basically had
something.
10,000 hours of drinking, so therefore you're a pro at it. That's what you're saying to us. By the way, Texaco, the fact that you're asking what a funny bone is really actually disturbing to me. If you didn't listen to the beginning of the show, you would know that Biznick, actually, we were discussing funny bones on the Radio Gunk forum, and I said, God, I was like so close to buying some fucking funny bones the other day, but I decided not to because I know how horrible they are for you. And basically, it's like some pseudo peanut butter shoved in a chocolate fucking Twinkie covered in chocolate. It's the only way I can describe it. And Biznick wound up sending me 5 fucking boxes of funny bones, and I just got them this morning when I got my mail. And it just made me laugh hysterically because I actually ate that for dinner. I ate fucking 4 funny bones for dinner and 2 glasses of wine. So yeah, that's how I rolled. Sorry. So yeah, now you know what a fucking funny bone is.
Oh, I
Google
think
it
like
next
4 funny bones, some Mountain Dew, a little Jack Daniels on top of that.
Mountain Dew, exactly.
All the food groups.
Some Jack Max.
Followed by stage 4 pancreatic cancer immediately after.
It's so true. All right, so I think we're gonna wrap this shit show up at just about 3 hours now. So, yeah, Matt, I love having you on our show. I really, really appreciate it. And
Yeah,
you know,
it's been a blast.
anytime you want to do a show and you think of something that you think would be like a funny or amusing thing, by all means, you know, let's just talk about it and let's just do it because, you know, I know it's a fun thing to do these shows. We're still looking at
anything. That's what's great.
what?
I don't have to run anything. It's fun when you don't have to run
It's fun when
anything.
you don't have to run anything. So we're attempting to do biography looks at the life of Howard Stern. We still haven't gotten around to that. I don't know what's going on with us getting our shit together to do that.
The
But
clumping
yeah,
stir, there's so many ideas.
I know, but you know what? But can we do them? I mean, seriously, I am in COVID land. I do
The
fucking
easiest thing to do would be that, or even that clumpy Stern thing, because it's really just one clip. So it's like I can't promise like the whole thing. The clumpy Stern thing, could it sustain an entire show? Possibly.
Babe, we finish with Gilbert an hour and 15 minutes ago. Like, seriously, we have talked about nothing but fucking funny bones and alcoholism for the last hour.
Shout out to Bon Jovi, because I just want to Bon Jovi. I'll give him a heads up.
Bon Jovi.
I would love to let's get together. I want to collaborate with you over Case and Japlin, the Case and Japlin show, because I know that I could do it myself, but I would like a little. I know you were tinkering with it too. So let's have a collab about it. And let's see what we put our heads together. Because I don't want to miss. I have back office
collab.
Yeah. That's a little hip Jack Max nomenclature.
Wow. I can't believe it. And by the way, if you want to follow us on YouTube again, you have to go to RG Forums. So it's capital R, capital G Forums. We have increased that little stupid YouTube account by over 300 members in the last month. So I super appreciate anybody who has started following us there. And I will try and put as much content up there as I humanly can from what we do on the Twitch channel, but it's kind of hard to do because they are highly aware of who I am and they sanction me immediately. And, I've already gotten like some really fucked up copyright infringements and stuff like that. So it's been really, really horrible to be able to do shows on there. So apologies in advance that I can't put everything up on YouTube, but that's just the way they are with us. And I'm going to wrap up this show.
Oh, Monique, one big shout out to Bring Back Jackie on Twitter, who I'm still not sure if he's on our site or not, but I know he listens to us. Phenomenal work. You're killing it on Twitter every day. If anybody knows who he is an awesome follow on Twitter. He tweets every nuance of the Stern Show. Just calls him out on everything. He is actually our collab when we revealed the Pelican Brief Marcy Turk GTD meeting in 2013. That's who I kind of leaked it to. He tweeted it. It went wild. He's also the guy who got tweeted Russell Crowe about Howard fat shaming, and that got national news. So just an awesome follow, awesome guy. Wow.
So just for fun and shits and giggles, I'm going to throw up the Brent.
Soft swinging.
This is one of my favorite things of the year. And yeah, so it just needs to be played again for all of you that may not have seen it. And
oh, she's so gross.
So gross. And we can actually talk through this because we've listened to it 1,000 times. So here we go.
Monique, it's Brent and Caitlin Hatley.
Oh!
Hey, Monique.
Use that bill as a billboard.
Your friend Bonnie, that fucking killed me.
We hope you're doing great.
Look at her.
Like she wanted to let you know about soft swing.
Only thing missing is Mountain Dew.
It's hot. It's really hot.
How could they not have Mountain Dew
Yeah.
in the shot?
To kind of start testing the waters. And there's different levels of soft
That
swinging,
elastic
right?
is straining.
So in Jersey City, when we lived there, part of the soft swinging, we met with a couple. We had drinks, went dancing. And then at the end of the night, the husband felt me up. Brent felt her up. We made out.
Fucking beautiful
That's
premise
really,
that
all
I
we
was
did
interested in
kind of,
soft swinging.
touched each other right out on the sidewalk.
Out on the street.
But then another version of soft swinging would be this last weekend. We went to a swingers resort, and
I can't get enough of this, by the way.
Sorry, ladies, it's taken.
Super hot couple. Oh
Yeah,
my
went
God.
up to the Poconos.
I was doing some funny bones in their time.
Naked and comfortable in your skin. And then, see what happens. Maybe nothing happens, or maybe you have a great
Yeah, there's no pressure at all. This is a birthday party. Counting in tickets in the Tampa Bay area. It's a beautiful resort.
For them,
You
it's
get-
Mountain Don't. That's fucking
Nobody's pushy.
awesome.
Get completely naked out of the pool and just enjoy your body.
That's
and
such a great line.
others.
Beth Rexick has mastered Mountain Dew
And then you
humor.
get into
She
some
said on a
soft
newly
swinging,
weird game she loves
fun,
burritos. I won't say more.
Maybe fun in the conversation pool.
Oh.
It's all just
At least you
amazing.
flat on it.
In the hallway. What's going on
Treat
behind
yourself
some of
for your
those
birthday,
doors?
and you'll wonder why you never did it before.
Is that the lead singer of the Cult?
Super fucking steamy. You should
Really steamy.
really try.
Oh.
Just saying. And then I don't know if you're married or have a significant other.
No one will give me the time of day. Yet these two and Benji Bronk are Jack Maxing.
Talk about super steamy.
I think
Wow.
we've gotten new
Loser
nomenclature
surely
now.
gets
Jack
nothing
Max.
like this. Nothing. Look at this.
Look at this. Oh, look at this.
There, we can only show you
Imagine
this.
Yeah, it looks like that bar at the end of Total Recall on Mars.
Imagine you're Sam Steinman and this guy's sitting on your couch in the middle of the night.
I would be so embarrassed to be in a bikini if I look like that. Can you imagine?
Oh, she has no idea.
She's
got like
Guys
reverse
were coming over
morphia.
saying, "Is this a butt competition?" We're like, "No, just admiring." We were just admiring. It's an amazing time. We would love to see you at Caliente.
Oh, I'd love to come to Caliente.
Super happy.
How fucking funny would that be? You know what? Maybe I'll do like a live podcast from Caliente. I don't even know where that is. Tampa, maybe?
Happy birthday.
Oh, here we go. Here's
no,
the singing.
go ahead. I can't sing. You have to do
All
it.
right. Happy birthday to you.
Bleh.
Happy birthday to you.
Vomitus.
Happy birthday, dear Monique. Happy birthday to you.
Pull him up.
Happy birthday. Say super steamy.
Say super,
We'll see you at
stay
Caliente
super
for
steamy.
Yes.
Dick. I can't
Oh,
believe that there was actually
incredible.
conversation about him suing about doing that fucking cameo. That makes me laugh hysterically. If anybody has the audio from that, I would love to hear it, and I will absolutely play it on our next show because that would make me so fucking happy. Because he has no idea who he's fucking with if he thinks for even a momentary second that he could sue me for doing a cameo for me, sent to me by somebody else, you fucking dick. That's why you do these. That's why people pay you to do them. You know, that's on you if you didn't look into who it was. How many fucking people do you know named Monique, you fucking dick?
You love the attention, you hedgehog hump. Shut up. You love it. That's all it is. That whole imagine you're Sam Simon and that thing's fucking your couch in the middle of the night.
This is paradise, like going to Caliente in the middle of the swamp of Florida. All right, Johnny, everybody wants a song from you. I keep hearing it in the thing here. So
No,
we
yeah.
need something
I
to end
guess
the show with.
even though I got a nurse in this sore throat, I'll give it a shot. So I guess in homage to Dennis Miller's wife, the former model, video girl, little Too Shy from Kajagoogoo. How does it go here? Modern medicine falls short of your complaint. Try a little harder. You're moving in circles. Won't you dilate? Ooh, baby, try. Hey, girl, move a little closer. 'Cause you're too shy. Hush, hush, as you are. Too shy. Hush, hush. You're too shy. Hush, hush, as you are. Too shy. Hush, hush.
Thank you, Tom. That was amazing. Okay, so we're going to end the show, and thank you, Matt, so much for joining us and participating. I'd love to have you again, Johnny, of course, as usual, and all of you who didn't see my new opening that Xavier did for me last week. I'm going to show it to you right now, and we're going to end the show. And we love you guys. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for spending, your Tuesday where you could have probably been doing, I don't know, pretty much anything else other than being here sitting with us, listening to the show. And we appreciate that. And we'll see you probably, I think we're going to do a show on